Get pie. What are we doing? Am I on YouTube's now? I think I am. Do I know what I'm doing? No. No, I don't. Why do you think I know what I'm doing? There's one person found me. Yay. Good morning. Oh my God, that's not mine. Just followed. Keep it up. I get all the fake demos shit. Am I live? Hold on, let me check. This fucking system, it's trying to trip me up. These people are trying to trip me up. Trip me up, girls. Wait, I gotta see if I'm even live. I'm alive, I'm alive, I'm alive. Yeah, I'm alive. Okay. All right. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Sorry. Everything's discombobulated this morning, but that's okay. That's typical. Anyway, welcome to the show. I'm Lolo. This is Wake and Bake with Lolo. We're a little bit past the waking side. And I haven't baked yet. Oh my God. But we'll bake after the show. So it'll be okay. We'll bake. I'm pretty baked anyway. I think I'm in a constant state of bake. I think that's what I am, but it's cool. Anyway, welcome to the show. I'm so glad that everyone may indeed finally find the show. That'd be great. It'd be wonderful. There's a lot today, and actually, I'm still trying to look for the dial-in information on the Todd Blanche, Katie Fang thing. So hopefully, that will appear so that we can figure out if we can even listen into it online. But anyway, I don't think anyone knows I'm live. That's okay. Or they do, and this is how it goes. It's so much fun doing this. I got to tell you, it's so much fun. I really do enjoy it. I should just do it for myself, and that's probably all I need to really worry about. Good morning, Tom. Good morning, Tom. Good morning, Tom. How are you doing today? Mm-hmm. How are you? I hope you're good. You slept through it again? No, you didn't, Paul. No, you didn't. You actually woke up just on time. You thought you slept through it. No, I was a little late this morning. Hello. Good morning, Mr. Spock. Hi, Heather and Todd. How you doing? Thanks, everybody, for coming to see me. Yeah, it's just been a morning. I mean, I had a horrible night's sleep. And then I thought, oh, I should have just set this for a little later because I do want to kind of keep track of what's happening with the Turd Blanche thing. But I'm a little out of control in terms of what the links are for that. Wait, there's the Turd Blanche thing. Then there's another thing, right? I still want to learn how to set up a stream. Maybe being sober, I'll actually do it. Hey, Paul, if you need anything, you let me know, okay? If you need any help or anything. And also Bobo is an amazing technician. So any help that you need, let us know. I'll be on my VA group starts at 10, but Todd is here for your whole show. God, Todd, I'm so lucky. Heather, you're so wonderful. Wonderful veteran. Thank you for your service. Welcome home. Good morning, Josh. How are you doing, darling? You're going to be hanging out with California fam here next week. Oh, I thought you said you were going to come to California, Tom. Oh, my God. Well, tell them I said hello. And you need to come out here. You need to come out here and visit. You need to do that. It's really nice out. Actually, today it's a little cloudy. And it rained the other day for like 10 minutes. And it was really nice, actually. So we'll see what happens with the weather here. But so far, so good. But good morning, everyone. Oh, it's so nice to see people. Sorry, this show was a little discombobulated. But that's really the name of my life. That's going to be the name of my what's that? Memorial? No, what's the book you write? Memoir. That's going to be my memoir. Discombobulated. My legacy. Anyway, good. I'm so glad. Well, wish them a safe travel to your neck of the woods. That would be great. So this morning, I have a lot of stuff. Okay. A lot of stuff kind of blew up last night. And Tina and Teresa and Gal and all of these beautiful women that we admire so very much started sharing information about a particular thing that's happening. And, we've been talking about South America a lot in terms of how the Trump administration is trying to basically colonize and create relationships with South American countries where we've got strong men in place and we can just take the resources that we want. That's really what this regime is trying to do with South America. And so, a lot of interesting things came out of that. Kind of crazy stuff. And we were talking, I think the first thing that came up was about Ecuador. So I kind of want to, I probably won't do a great job of it, but I kind of want to talk to you about that. And then the other thing that's really came up yesterday was I did that 20-minute video parsing out one of the people on Steve Bannon's show, Steve Stern, who is one of the election deniers and part of that kind of inner circle, if you will. And basically what that guy, Steve, did was he admitted that Wayne Root, who is part of an election denier group with Mike Flynn and Kurt Olson and a bunch of other bastards that we know about, that Wayne Root was able last week to meet with President Trump when he was in Las Vegas. And he basically gave him and talked him through and it's being used in terms of the words, so I know it's the same document, National Election Emergency Security Act. And that's what Wayne Root apparently shared language with the president last week. And then probably within, 36 hours, 48 hours of that meeting, President Trump said, I'm not ruling out shutting down elections, or whatever it is he said. I didn't listen to his exact words, but basically saying that he wouldn't rule out, putting ice at the polls and blah, 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 all the things that Mike Flynn has wanted since 2018. So to that end, that perked my ears when Steve Stern was so very honest about what Trump was being told and how those two events correlated, right? Where Wayne Root gives him a certain document, information, walks him through it. Hey, Max, I know. Good afternoon. Wayne Root gives him a document, walks him through it, and then it becomes it informs policy as we move closer to the election. Which I'm gonna really die on this hill that this president wants nothing more than the midterms to go his way, because he realizes that means endless investigations, which will then lead to criminal proceedings. And the reason this man wanted to be president in the first place isn't just the unmitigated fucking gall. It was because he wanted to stay out of prison, because he knew that it was catching up with him, as evidenced by the 34 felonies that he was actually convicted of. So now he knows that he can lose in court when it's pushed. So this is a man up against a wall and very scared, because he does not want to die in prison. He doesn't want to be in prison. So that's why I'm convinced that if he's talking about trying to do something with the fucking, Blanche's number. Thank you so much. Oh my God, Teresa, you're the best person in the whole world. I love you. I really do. Not just because of this. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Let me see. What was I saying? Anyway, so I have no doubts that this man would try to institute some kind of national emergency around elections. And thankfully, all the mainstream media does seem to be picking up that, which is great. I think we should take it seriously. And he'll try. He may fail. I'm not saying he's going to succeed, but I'm going to say they're going to try, because not only does he have a lot riding on this, but I'm going to tell you all the people who have been withdrawing money from the Treasury. Mrs. Beasley, Mr. Nutlicker, all of those people. They're all knee deep in this bullshit. All right. So they all need Republicans to win in November or else, right? It's going to get worse. So that's why when this all came up, I started thinking about what was that document that he was saying Wayne Root would have given to what's his name, President Dump, and what does it imply and all those kinds of things. And so I just asked Gal Squad because I'm like, they know what's what. Hello, dropping for a few minutes to send greetings to my favorite peeps. Love you, Lee. Aw. Wait, Oren, where are you? Did Oren come in and I missed it? Oh my God. I'm so sorry if I missed my beautiful Oren. So yeah, I think this is a serious issue and something just to be aware of. I think the more awareness that is put on it, the less likely they are going to try to pull shit. Because I think they do back down when they get a little bit of public heat. We saw that with the weaponization fund. So it is possible to make them retreat. Now, granted, they'll try again in different ways, but that's okay as long as we're stopping some of the absolute horrific kind of manipulation of our elections. So in whatever way they are trying to think about that. So to that end, let me see what I've got first. Hold on just a minute. Okay, the first thing I have is a recent one. Let me pull this up. Oh, skadooby dooby dooby. Whoa. Okay, I need to not hide myself. Hold on. I don't know where I am. Wait. Oh, there I am. Okay. La 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 la. Well, I guess I'll put this here. I don't need to. Yeah. Okay. Sorry about that. Little house moving. Okay. The Trump administration. This is Center for American Progress report. So it's a think tank and an organization. It's not a journalist. Good morning, peace, love. How are you, darling? Lee, it's hot outside. Fuck yeah, girl. Oh, you're almost on vacation, right? Are you almost on vacation, my love? Lee? I hope so. Oh my God, I had so much fun. I hung out with Lee and with Jen Griffey, and I can't tell you, those two women, I never stopped laughing. I literally never stopped laughing. The two of them are the two of the most beautiful souls on the planet. And we're so lucky to have all these great people in this. I'm telling you right now. Sorry. It's a love fest. But you know what? We need more love fests in this fucking world. God damn it. All right. Center for American Progress. The Dump administration is interfering in the 2026 midterm elections to entrench the imperial presidency. Well, that's a loaded statement. But again, this is not journalism. This is more of a report and, a think tank. So keep that in mind. Where is it? Key facts. Okay. The Dump administration is carrying out a plan to subvert. Hold on. Oops. Oh, whoa. What am I doing? Yeah. That's what I wanted to do. Okay, let me go ahead and just read the introduction and summary. This will be good enough. And then I'll include this in the thing. Oh, man, I made this too big. Hold on. I made it too big, my people. In the 18 months since Inauguration Day, President Donald Dump and his administration have seized unprecedented executive branch power to implement extremist and unpopular policies. Now, to lock in power and escape accountability, see, no secret, the administration is waging an unconstitutional effort to subvert voters' will in the November 2026 midterm elections. For decades, political scientists who study backsliding democracies around the world have identified a crucial tactic used by would-be authoritarians. Once they have dismantled traditional checks and balances, and weaponized government against their perceived political enemies. Check. They move to disrupt and control elections to ensure that they and their allies remain in office. The right to freely and fairly vote for elected leaders is the most fundamental feature of a democratic republic. It's the mechanism through which all other rights are ultimately protected and through which the government derives its legitimate authority. As the United States marks 250 years of democratic self-governance, that right and the republic it sustains faces the gravest threat from within. If Where's Nana comes to the lounge, I shared you with her because the need to learn about all of it because someone is going after her. Oh no. All right. Well, come on in, Nana. Come on in. Come on in. Don't start loving you unless you can do the whistle notes. I don't know. Which loving you? Loving you is wrong. I don't want to be right. If loving you is wrong, I don't want to be right. I'm trying to think of the loving you song that has whistles. Our pool temperature is in the 90s. What? That sounds like a bathtub. All right. Sorry. Don't get me distracted. You guys are too funny. Once they have dismantled traditional checks and balances and weaponized government against their perceived enemies, they move to disrupt and control elections to ensure that they and their allies remain in office. The right to freely and fairly vote for elected leaders is the most fundamental feature of a democratic republic. It is the mechanism through which all other rights are ultimately protected and through which the government derives its legitimate authority. Sorry, I read this already. As the United States marks 250 years of democratic self-governance, oh no, it's Max. It's fine. Rex is good too. 250 years of democratic self-governance, that right and the republic it sustains faces the gravest threat. This report is the third in a Center for American Progress series documenting how the Trump administration planned and then built an imperial presidency. This report revisits earlier analyses, which detailed the steps that the administration was taking to aggregate power, create a strongman presidency, and implement a far-right policy agenda. The report then documents how the administration, through a multi-pronged plan across 15 interlocking tactics, is working to subvert elections and manufacture victories in the midterms, all in service of consolidating the administration's unprecedented power. These tactics include, but are not limited to, weaponizing federal departments controlled by loyalists, check, erecting massive hurdles for eligible Americans to register to vote and to cast their ballots, check, triggering a mid-decade gerrymandering crisis that severely disadvantages Black and Latino voters, check, assailing state and local election administrators, check, and musing publicly about deploying National Guard troops and federal agents to polling places or demanding that state officials not certify elections, check. The stakes are stark. A sitting president and his administration have created a near constitutional crisis. What the fuck is the definition of a constitutional crisis? Oh, la, 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 la. Oh, Minnie Riperton. Yes. Okay. Loving you is easy 'cause you're beautiful. And everything that you do makes me more in love with you. La, 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 la. I can't do the whistle. And I can't even do the song because I can't hit that range. Minnie Riperton's range was beautiful. Okay, with breathtaking speed, the Dump administration has seized unprecedented executive branch power and used it to impose an agenda that most Americans reject. To cement that power and escape accountability, the administration is actively attempting to subvert the will of the people. The engineering of election results is a hallmark of authoritarian consolidation. Okay, I want less feelings and more facts. The administration has aggregated unprecedented power. Over the past years, the Center for American Progress has tracked and analyzed how, okay, Teresa, bye. I would just whistle, yeah. The first report in the series, Project 2025, would destroy the U.S. system of checks and balances and create an imperial presidency. Oops, they tried to tell us. That report analyzed the far-right Project 2025 playbook, an audacious roadmap for unconstrained president to establish political supremacy and force the implementation of a radical policy agenda. Yeah, it sounds like where we're at. Many of the steps in the Trump administration is now taking to subvert elections were recommended in Project 2025. This is the thing, folks. They laid out what they wanted to do and what the end of it was, and then just did it. And everyone was like, oh, they'll never do that. Well, they're doing it, idiots. In April 2025, the authors published the second report, Trump's First 100 Days, Creating an Imperial Presidency That Harms Americans. That report detailed how the Trump administration in just 100 days was moving with alarming speed to seize and aggregate power, fulfilling nearly every prediction in the first report. Hi, Haggard. Jay Rance. I didn't say hi to you specifically. Hello, my love. The administration claims sweeping constitutional authority under Article 2 in the so-called unitary executive theory, remember that, to assert primacy over Congress, the courts, the federal bureaucracy, the media, universities, and civil society, and law firms, while incorporating, and TV stations, while incorporating elements of oligarchy and systemic corruption. Isn't it interesting? Because remember that Seven Mountains thing? Remember the Seven Mountains thing that Gal Squad always talks about? Yeah. Remember that? Well, you know what? We're there because they're doing it. They're dismantling the Seven Mountains individually. The whistle register. Wow. I did not know that. Oh. I don't know how she whistled that high. I don't know how she sung that high. Its tactics involve weaponizing the U.S. Department of Justice for political purposes, including assailing perceived political. Okay, so this is a lot of stuff that we already know. I would like to get some. I would love a list of things. Okay, that's okay. I'm going to go ahead and share this with you, but I think you get the point because there's actually other things related to erection integrity, as I like to call it. I think, you know what I think I want to do? And I'm going to play for you a little bit of what I saw this morning, which J Rant Dominionists. Yes, I think there's a Dominionist afoot. So I was watching Steve Bannon this morning, so you don't have to. But now I'm making you watch it, so I guess I am making you watch it. Anyway, guess who showed up on Steve Bannon's? I'm going to have to come back to see the hearing section because group is at 10 this morning. Oh, Oren, all righty, sweetheart. Okay, no problem. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to play it, but I'm going to try. But I want to play George Papadopoulos is back, y'all. George Papadopoulos, who blocked me on Twitter multiple times. Blocked, unblocked, blocked, unblocked. And his wife, the Russian agent. The Russian who's not Russian at all. She's Italian. Okay, get it right. Anyway, so there's that George Papadopoulos. And I just want you to hear a little bit of what George Papadopoulos had to say about elections.
Clarity, it's amazing. Question I've got, and I'm kind of pressed for time here, but in May of 17, what's been revealed on the White House website from hard facts, and those facts have not really been disputed.
Hi, Bastard.
Did members of then President Trump's first term of his government and the permanent bureaucracy or the administrative or deep state attempt a coup d'etat against President Trump as sitting commander-in-chief, sir?
The answer is 100%
yes.
And what that attempt was an overt act in a criminal conspiracy to not only disenfranchise millions of American voters who voted for President Trump and America First, but a treasonous act to overthrow the United States government. And that's ultimately what they attempted in May 2017 after they failed to keep him from ascending to the Oval Office in November of 2016, Steve. So that is ultimately what the president was up against. His own so-called people were treasonous from within. And if you go back as far back as ancient Rome, that's what the great orator Cicero warned would eventually destroy the ancient city of Rome. It was treason from within, not an enemy abroad, but from within. And that's what the president was up against.
I wonder.
He fought back against it, but the time is now to expose exactly what they did and to hold them accountable, Steve. Because if we don't, now that we have the executive and we control Congress, we'll never have this shot again. The time is now.
Give me 1 minute. What do you recommend? Is it criminal proceedings? What is Papadopoulos' recommendation? Needs to be done now.
Now, Papadopoulos.
We need to stop playing games.
I'm going to take
we
a
need to
Papadopoulos in the
everything.
toilet.
The president has been calling for declassification. Ultimately, the buck stops with the president. The president has to declassify every single file regarding Obamagate, the impeachment scandals, January 6th. Deliver those files for the first time ever to a grand jury so that they can see this classified information and allow the grand jury, along with the prosecutors leading these investigations, patriotic individuals like Joe DiGenova and his team, to bring.
That was the part. Get patriotic Americans like Joe DiGenova. Joe DiGenova was one of the architects. Shut up, Atopoulos. That's what I'm going to call him. He first of all, he was the one who was drunk at a bar talking to an Australian foreign minister or diplomat or someone from Australia and told him that the Russians were helping the campaign. Okay? This little drunk peanut head had too big a mouth, and I think almost basically started the kerfuffle of, Robert Mueller and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, they're just pushing their dudes out there. They are pushing their dudes out there. So Joe DiGenova is a piece of shit election fucker that we don't want anywhere near our elections.
It there and to prosecute these people for the first time ever. Because if you look back at what happened with Durham, with Special Counsel Durham, he never had these files declassified. These files couldn't get to grand jury. That's why he wasn't able to go all the way. We can go all the way now, Steve, but we need to have the will to do it. And I know the president does, but it's up to his team too not to block it. And that's what George Papadopoulos would advise right now.
This is why Bill Pulte was, I'm telling you, Bill Pulte, if it was not for Solomon and the task force, amazing.
Yeah. DiGenova is a straight up Russian agent. Yeah.
We would have lost this country.
And Victoria Tensing, his partner.
What has happened at when he was there at DNI for 6 freaking weeks with the task force, we've now got exposure. And hey, I'm just asking you, DNI, yo, dude, where the frick are the declassifications? I don't want to hear any happy talk about how you're working well with others. I don't care about working well with others. You need Jay. You need to step up. Try to be half the person that Bill Pulte was. Papadopoulos, where do people go to get your content? We're going to be back on. Where to go?
All right. Anyway, so that was George Papadopoulos. He was spouting all kinds of bullshit this morning on the old radio. Let me see where I go from here because I got another thing I want to talk about it. Let's see. Oh, okay. Let me show you. Actually, let me go to my channel. And I'm not going to show you the whole thing, but didn't we watch a documentary on that? The U.S. legal definition of treason requires aiding a nation with who we are at war. Otherwise, you're talking sedition, espionage, or terrorism, dumbass. Half the person Bill Pulte was. half the person Bill Pulte was less than half a person. Okay, here we go. Wait, where's mommy's channel? Here. Where's my channel? 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 Whoops. I was already watching this, I guess. All right. So I am going to show you a video that I made. God damn it. But I'm happy about this video because I think it starts to Clayburg. It starts to bring out, like, I don't know, just where we're at. I don't know. I thought it was kind of a discovery. I guess I'm a little too proud of this video, but anyway. From his little desk making his little flag shirts. He is also in charge of this thing called the precinct patrol or something, basically trying to engage people with not believing their pollsters or their poll workers and challenging election results. So these folks, while they seem mild-mannered, have been very, very important in the disinformation that has begun. So I found this conversation kind of interesting, and I hope that you do too. Let's hear what they have to say.
Joining us here on Right Side.
Well, glad to be here today, and hopefully we'll talk a little bit of election integrity. We've had a lot of meetings about that.
Election integrity.
As you know, you heard Wayne Root interviewing President the other day, and there's a whole storm now. Everybody seems to be finally realizing.
Oh, there's a storm. What an interesting reference. I haven't, if you followed Q all these years, and frankly, just seen any of Dump's stupid posts, you'll know that the election disinformation.
And our good friend John Goodman.
So in case, and I also want to, I'm going to stop it there because he's talking about John Goodman. This is the point I wanted to get to. He's talking about one of the experts they have in election integrity or erection integrity. They might have missed the memo. And so he talks about John Goodman as being one of the experts where they're getting the data about elections that indicates that there should be some kind of emergency. Because what this man says in this little 10-minute segment is that Wayne Root took a plan for national security that Mike Flynn, he says Mike Flynn and others helped devise, which I think we've heard about prior, that this group was working, Cleta Mitchell and all these people, and gave it to the president last week. Well, and then the president said yesterday, oh my God. The president said yesterday, where is it? No. I have so many things on this. It's ridiculous. Sorry. Where is it? President Dump's claim. That's another one. Oh, yeah, here we go. Trump declines to rule out declaring a national security emergency to control the 2026 election. This was August 11th, reporting on CNN. No. Oh, no. You're making me subscribe? Oh, fuck you. Oh, that's right. I had found another piece for this. This is from February. So again, going back, Trump seeking executive power over elections is urged to declare emergency. So this group, activists who say they're in coordination with the White House, this is the group we're talking about. Thank you, Teresa. I'm kind of proud of it. I'm not very good at introducing it, but I'm kind of proud of it. Activists who say they're in coordination with the White House are circulating a draft. All right, we read about this in February when it came out. Pro-Trump activists who say they are in coordination with the White House are circulating a 17-page draft executive order that claims China interfered in the 2020 election as a basis to declare a national emergency that would unlock extraordinary presidential power over voting. President Trump has repeatedly previewed a plan, of course, the Save America Act. This is pre-Save America Act introduction. Here we go. Under the Constitution, the legislatures in the states that really control how a state conducts its elections, and the president doesn't have any power to do that, said Peter Tickton, who is part of this group that Wayne Root. In fact, Steve Stern mentions Peter Tickton in the video that I just shared as part of this group that is working to influence the president to declare a national emergency. And it sounds like it might have been working for the moment. I think the more attention that is given to this story, the greater the chance that he will not be able to instigate some kind of national security plan for elections. So I think the louder we are about this, the better off we will be in November. Yes, Flynn has been calling for a presidential or for national emergency since 2020. He is the national emergency. Okay, let's see. Okay. So we know the president has already said that he is not going to rule out issuing a national emergency. Well, let's see. Where am I? Oh, I keep going to the Albania one. I put out to my Gal Squad friends, hey, what do we know about this plan, this national security plan? I don't recall if we ever got like a draft of it or anything. And what Gal had done, this is one of three, included a memo dated December 18th, 2020, counter-election fraud NSPM 13 request. And this would have kind of informed, if not be the emergency order. And this Michael Del Rosso that wrote this is also part of the group that Steve Stern alludes to, that is trying to influence the president. Why is this making this smaller? I see. Okay. All right. Everybody calm down. La 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 la. Wait, did I go away? Yeah, Michael Del Rosso, one of three, included on a memo dated December 18th. All right. Where's the memo? What happened to my post? Where is it? Oh, son of a bitch. I'm so sorry. Embarrassing. Okay, here we go. I don't know if I can read this. It's so small. Michael Del Rosso is the vice president and senior fellow of the American Strategy Group. Oh, that sounds really great. A think tank dedicated to understanding the strategic threats to the United States, a member of the Independent Working Group on Missile Defense. What? His articles, National Security Affairs and Public Policy, blah, 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 blah. Mr. Del Rosso served as a presidential campaign surrogate for Donald Trump, discussing national security matters at the Republican National Convention and in national media appearances. So he's been here since the beginning. He is also part of this conversation. Hi, Bob. How are you? About how to institute a national security plan for the elections. Let me see what. Oh, here we go. And if you remember the guy, John Goodman, that they are looking to as the expert on election integrity. Election integrity. I also found this, the election law blog. I don't know. Did somebody share this? No, not that I know of. President Trump's claim of irrefutable arguments supporting his right to unilaterally impose voter ID and election rules may be based on insane claim that a Marriott hotel manager found secret text in the shadows of a microfilm copy of the U.S. Constitution. I know. Go Katie Fang. I'm so proud of her. Oh my God. What an amazing journalist she is. We're so lucky. All right. So this is from February of this year. Yesterday, I noted the latest set of unhinged social media posts from President Trump, in which he declared that voter ID requirements and other election changes would be imposed in the midterms via executive order, whether approved by Congress or not. I pointed out in response to that an executive order is not a royal edict. It is not law. It is a direction to the executive branch as to how to carry out the law. Also, key parts of Trump's last EO on elections have been stopped by federal courts, ruling that, hi, Clark, how are you, love? Ruling that the president has no role to play in federal elections. One of the odd parts of Trump's post was the statement that, quote, I have searched the depths of legal arguments not yet articulated or vetted on this subject and will be presenting an irrefutable one in the near future. Doesn't that sound like he talked to John Eastman? That sounds like something John Eastman would say. I don't know. I'm just wondering. What could Trump have been referring to? I originally had no idea, but then a reader wrote to me about a comment about an obscure post, which seems insane, but could explain the big Trump reveal to come. Quote, it's possible states innocently believe they have unrestrained constitutional authority to create election rules within their borders. But they're about to learn that's not so, reports John N. Goodman, a retired Hallandale beach man who shared some research that he conducted with a fellow election integrity advocate with links to the White House. John is also part of this Wayne Root group, okay? This is all the same people. They're the ones. That research found its way to Washington, D.C. recently when MyPillow founder Mike Lindell met with President Trump. Lindell shared Goodman's research after Steve Stern. We just fucking heard from Steve. Okay. Listen to the flag shirt guy. He's apparently got more information than we do. Yeah, oh my God, Flynn, drink. Oh my God, Steve Stern, the vice chairman of the Broward County Republican Executive Committee and also flag shirt guy. Oh God, I wish I didn't know any of these people. But these are the people I watched for the last 5 years. Thinking, why am I watching these stupid people? Stern contacted Lindell. Stern confirmed he's part of the Lindell network. Steve Stern is part of the Lindell network. He's part of the Bannon network. He's part of the Lindell network. They're all connected. They're all connected. A former manager for Marriott Hotels. I bet you he was like overnight manager. Let's be honest, okay? Goodman spent 6 weeks at the main branch of the... This is the story I want out as we approach a national security emergency. Because they're definitely touting this John Goodman as like, you know, oh man, he's got the secret password. He spent 6 weeks at the main branch of the Broward County Library System in Fort Lauderdale. He was reading a microfilm copy of the original U.S. Constitution, eventually spotting an apparent shadow that turned out to be a significant find. I told you I'd get you there, okay? Sometimes I take a circuitous route, but I do get you there eventually. According to Goodman, a Kentucky native, he stumbled upon wording that wasn't commonly known, although he speculates Supreme Court justices were familiar with the words because a majority opinion in U.S. term limits v. Thornton echoed that hallowed language. In an email this morning, he wrote, "It's important to point out to your readers that the Constitution on the surface says that states do have 100% power over elections." I can't do this. Okay. But there was an obstructed console that was not noticed for many, many years because it looks exactly like a faded shadow from the line above it. So I decided to go back the next day with a high-powered magnifier. This guy's like fucking Nick Cage out of National Treasure. What the fuck? Hey, what? To add to the microfilm magnifier, in order to still barely make out what it said, dictate electoral outcomes unfairly, and states cannot do that. And then the actual words dictate electoral outcomes is also in that 1995 Supreme Court case. Dun, dun, dun. Wait, do I have a dun, dun, dun? I don't know.
That's my opinion!
That's pretty much what we're dealing with here. I don't know.
Let the games begin.
Okay, yes, in that 1995 Supreme Court case, and they elaborate in great details, such as the state's powers designed by the framers were meant to be procedural, and their actions cannot compromise integrity of the election to favor or disfavor a certain class of candidate or evade constitutional restraints. I don't know how that helps him. How does that statement help him? I don't get it. He found a kinematic anomaly. He found an anomaly. It's like I'm on observation duty, but for the Constitution. And then, yeah, someone called Jovan. Let's get him in here. Stat with his CAT scan. Dictate. Use it in sentence. Okay. Oh my God, this is crazy. This is the genius that they have behind the president. He sees things in microfiche. Okay, let's see here. This treasure chest constitutional finding, backed up by one Supreme Court decision, or one line in one Supreme Court decision, undermines the efforts of states that sought to keep Trump off the ballot in 2024 when he won a second term, Goodman argues. He also contends the huge, no, it's called an insurrection, bitch. Okay. It's an insurrection. He also contends that the huge expansion of vote by mail is a state action that tips the scale in favor of a certain candidate or party. Then wouldn't we have won? Yeah, how does Trump dictates? How wouldn't we have won if we were able to so much, manipulate this voting system? Wouldn't we have won all these years? Are we bad at this? Are we just really exceptionally bad at cheating? Jovan Pulitzer is one of the funniest characters. Yes, I have a picture of him in a bikini, a little bikini bottoms with his little penis like kind of shoved in there. It's very tiny. I'll have to find it. I can't find it. I always lose that picture. Anyway, I do have that picture. Just saying. And I have a picture of Enrique Tarrio's dick. So there. And Seth Keshel sexting some woman. I mean, come on now. Let's see. Clearly, though, Goodman isn't a constitutional scholar. Let alone an attorney, let alone a thinking person. He is my personal favorite. They made him a song. Did they really? They made Jovan a song? Who made that for him? Oh my God. However, his research eventually put him in touch with two attorneys. Kurt Olson is one of them, I bet, who are working with President Dump to clean up our voting system. He says this connection provided him with some insight into what is about to unfold when the president announces action that includes a second executive order on election integrity. Yes, the Q-Cat, that's what it is. God damn it, the worst technology product of all time. He invented this thing that looked like a cat, I guess. And it had it was able to read. It was like a little scanner that was able to read barcodes. Oh, you did a remix, but oh man, damn it. Here's a fun flashback of Jovan. I can't click on links from here. I got to click on links from over here. Hold on. I'll click on it somewhere else. God damn it. I wonder why they don't let me like a normal person click on it. Oh. Okay, I'll find it. Really, I wonder why. Reply? No, I don't want to do that. Okay, I'll find it. Worse than Mr. Microphone? Oh, absolutely. And the thing is this thing would scan barcodes and shit like that, but it never took off. But he called it the Q-Cat. And it was a little cat. And we were like, why not call it the cat scan? I don't know. As I wrote to the person who asked me about this, the idea that there is hidden language in the Constitution that vests electoral power in the federal government, the clapper, that's a great invention, Paul. Come on. Electoral power in the who the F is J rants. Oh my God, that's so great. I remember that. Jovan saying, who the F is J rants. I love that. Oh my God, good times. Good times. Good times. Yeah, way better. Okay, let's see here. If this is what the president was referring to as irrefutable proof to support an executive order on elections, he's more gullible and ignorant than I thought. Well, yeah, guess what? As to U.S. term limits v. Thornton, that is a Supreme Court case in which the Supreme Court held that states did not have the power, even in Article 1, Section 4 Elections Clause, to alter the qualifications listed in the Constitution to serve in Congress. That's what that case was about. In the course of discussing how Elections Clause power does not extend to altering congressional qualifications set forth in the Constitution, Justice Stevens wrote, moreover, petitioner's broad construction of the Elections Clause is fundamentally inconsistent with the framers' view of that clause. The framers intended the Elections Clause to grant states authority to create procedural regulations, not to provide states with license to exclude classes of candidates from federal office. That was the point. I have a whole thread about all of that and him, but here's the song. I sing it for like a week every time. God damn. Okay, I need to get it. I need to. How do I do this? Oh, I know how I do it. Hold on. Everybody hold on. I got this. Hold on. I'm gonna do it. Hold on. I'm going to do it. I got to get ready for this other thing, though. Okay, hold on. I got to just do this. Shut myself up. Shut up. Shut up. All right. I want to make sure everyone. God, I missed so much when I was knocked off Twitter. Okay, let me share this instead. Okay. Gal wrote, when did you write? 2021, June 2021. I want to make sure everyone understands how delusional the fraud cult is. They have live streams on YouTube daily of the audit, while a song dedicated to the kinematic artifact detection guy, Jovan Hutton Pulitzer, not his real name, plays on repeat for hours. Oh my God.
You're our warrior. You are brave like a lion. You David fighting Goliath, couldn't ask for more. You're our warrior. Think of what you've done for you, for me, for our country. You'll go down in history.
This is playing over and over again.
As our warrior.
You're counting ballots, and you ended up for votes.
Lead by God and always do what's right.
You found more votes
And
than
you
I did.
lead the fight. We pray for your safety, the armor of God to protect you. From all of us, thank you for all that you do.
Thank you for counting
You are courage, you're our voice. Jovan, we thank you for what you're fighting for. You're our warrior.
artifact machine, yeah.
You are brave like a lion.
Who the
David
fuck is
fighting Goliath, couldn't
And never mind that Jim Stewart said.
You're our warrior.
Badass
Think of what
Playberg.
you've done for.
Yeah. Fuck Gal Squad. Oh, whoops. What, where, who? I wasn't paying attention. Well, all right. That's the song they play. I can't even believe this. That's what they played. Our next band song. Exactly. You're our voice. You're our warriors. And they ended up finding more votes for Joe Biden. Okay, make it make sense. It was bonkers. And now it's even more bonkers. Let me go back to my, where's my guy? Where's my stupid guy? Hold on. Oh yeah, here it is. Okay. Okay, I don't need to read Stevenson's thing. I bolded the language between the asterisks that insane Substack post points to. It does not come close to saying what the Substacker implies. Justice Stevens in U.S. term limits was commenting on the limited power of states under the Elections Clause. We do have a Gal Squad end of the world party. It's not, I mean, it is Christian because they always throw the Christian thing on that, Heather and Todd, but it is more just a mind fuck. That's really what it is. It's a mind fuck about you're doing the right thing by counting these ballots again. Don't worry about it. Oh my God. Okay. So really what I wanted to share this with you is because the person who is behind this National Election Security Emergency Plan Act or whatever the fuck it is, one of the names tossed around as one of the architects of it is this John Goodman, who literally is a Marriott hotel manager who spent 6 weeks in a library and thinks he saw something. Yeah, exactly. Thinks that he just saw something, in the Constitution. Okay. He had a moment and a brain fart and he saw something. So now here we are with the president who's about to consider, just switch to my shower speaker, a president who's about to consider, implementing some kind of constraint on elections because he doesn't want to lose and go to prison. He especially doesn't want to lose and go to prison if he's found guilty of child rape, because that would be a little too much for him. All right. So there you go. But I would not, I I would take seriously this threat by the government to try and fuck with our elections. Oh shoot, I did this without any context. Okay. So yeah, a Marriott manager. And then, which is fine. You can be a Marriott manager, but you are not going to become an OSINT person overnight. And you're certainly not seeing shit in the Constitution that isn't there. Okay. You're just drunk. I don't know. I think you went to the bar and then you went to the library. All right. This one really got me yesterday, and Gal and et al. Know all about this Ballard shit. And then yesterday was discussed. Controversial group wins $158 million contract to represent unaccompanied immigrant children. It is the Ballard group, the ones who have been caught abusing and trafficking people. It's fascinating that this is the group that they literally, Gal, big time. They're going to declare an emergency, cancel or delay, and then completely rig them. I'm going to tell you that this is it. This is why we are seeing all of the cash outs, all of the locking in of profits, as much as possible to lock in before the midterms, all the corruption. I'm telling you that we're seeing it. We're seeing it happen on every front. And then, because they cannot be investigated. You don't understand. Like, maybe people don't understand. Like, these guys are so frightened of being investigated initially by Congress. But this man's already been convicted of 34 counts and convicted of rape. He literally has already been convicted. He knows that he can lose in court. That he knows. And so I have no doubt that he will do anything that he needs to in order to try and hold on to that power. And I think I'm hoping that the media just shouts it down and that he can't possibly do it. Yes. No, not Ballard Partners in Florida. Ballard, the abuser guy, the border guy. All right, let me read this. The Dump administration has awarded a controversial human trafficking organization a no-bid $158 million contract to provide legal services to unaccompanied migrant children, according to a notice posted Friday by U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. Utah-based ERECTION, previously known as Operation Underground Railroad, says it helps law enforcement perform sting operations to catch human traffickers and rescue survivors. It's unclear if it has immigration lawyers on its staff, but this is what their job is going to be. Although its website says it offers legal support to help prosecute offenders, ERECTION did not immediately return NPR's request for comment. The group was founded by activist Tim Ballard. Who was the subject of the 2023 film Sound of Freedom, and also in trouble. Like, I don't know why they're not saying he's in trouble, but okay. The movie starring Jim Caviezel was heavily promoted in conservative media as QAnon conspiracies flourished. Yeah, exactly. That's him, Tim Ballard. He's a piece of shit. Cersei Lannister is going to take over Caroline Leavitt's position. I hope Spencer Pratt does. I think that's the best. Jim, you said it. I think it needs to be Spencer Pratt. Within months of the film's release, however, here we go. Ballard himself faced accusations of sexual exploitation. He has repeatedly denied them, but was quietly removed from the group. It's now headed by CEO Derek Benner, who previously worked for the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement. Just search Tim's Twitter. Yeah, this is crazy. This is like the worst possible people. Yeah, the worst possible people are on this. So, Jim, I can't wait to see what you write about this. In a statement to NPR, the Office of Refugee Resettlement said the contract will run for 6 months from August 7th to February 6th. The agency said it's working with other providers besides ERECTION, including the U.S. Committee for Refugees and Immigrants. What about Catholic Charities? You know why they're not working with Catholic Charities? Because they're claiming that Catholic Charities is part of the problem. I don't think they are. I'm sure they have bureaucracy that is a pain in the ass and probably should be addressed, but I don't think they're the problem. ORR is committed to ensuring every unaccompanied immigrant child has legal representation in immigration court, a spokesperson told NPR Wednesday, which I believe the ORR does. ORR, Michael Lukens, the executive director of the nonprofit Amicus Center for Immigrant Rights, on Wednesday blasted HHS's decision to award Our Rescue this contract. His organization provided legal services to unaccompanied immigrant children under the previous contract. HHS is trying to give a contract to a nonprofit that is highly problematic. I mean, bad. It's not even highly problematic. It's fucking bad. Loomer? I don't know. Although she'd be interesting. She'd be entertaining. Flynn does hate Catholic charities. That's right. And they've really demonized Catholic charities, which is interesting. This all to me boils down to children are going to be harmed. And that seems to be the point of a lot of these actions. There are currently about 24,000 immigrant children in the U.S. who are classified by the federal government as unaccompanied, but only 1,800 are in the custody of HHS. The agency defines them as minors who have no lawful immigration status in the U.S. and who have no parent or legal guardian in the U.S. available to provide care and physical custody. Didn't they lose their government funding? I don't know. Actually, I don't know. I'd have to check on that. The contract with Our Rescue was granted a week after a contract with a group of nearly 100 legal nonprofits to do similar work expired on July 31st. The expiration left attorneys scrambling to figure out how to ensure the minors continued to have legal representation. Yeah, Catholic Charities is a real organization, which is why they have to go. Apparently, that's right. In a statement to NPR, ORR said it has been using the U.S. Committee for Refugees and Immigrants to provide legal representation to all unaccompanied immigrant children in ORR care since August 5th. That organization will provide legal services until December 31st. But that's not a solution, Lucan said. HHS is causing chaos in the system, and that may be on purpose. Maybe? I don't know. Lucan said they let a contract expire. They don't have any long-term contract in place. They're trying to do these sort of gap fillers while also reaching out to unqualified organizations about serving the children. Lucan said Amicus Center for Immigrant Rights and other nonprofits continue providing legal representation for their unaccompanied. Oh, Alina, that's right. Oh, Alina Habba is probably going to be the replacement. You think so? I don't know. I wonder if they bring over Tommy Pigface from the State Department. Although he looks like Bob's Big Boy. Like I have a Bob's Big Boy on my, oh, you can't see it, but I have a Bob's Big Boy. I should go get it. The Dump administration stopped paying the legal nonprofits, including Lucan's, back in November. Alina's father was chancellor. Yes. Is she is she an ambassador to Malta now or something? Alina's father was chancellor for the U.S. Knights of Malta. So they're Templars, right? Are they on a crusade? Fuck. Lucan said that information was covered by attorney-client privilege and that the nonprofits decided to not apply for a new contract because of those concerns. Oh, wait a minute. Excuse me. The Dump administration had stopped paying the legal nonprofits, including Lucan's, back in November when lawyers refused to turn over confidential information about the children they represented. They are the literal Templars. Okay, I want to make sure I got that right. When lawyers refused to turn over confidential information about the children they represented. That's what ended all the contracts of people helping to represent unaccompanied minors. Lucan said that information was covered by attorney-client privilege and that the nonprofits decided to not apply for a new contract because of those concerns. So they just lost a bunch of lawyers that they really, really fucking need. This latest development builds on a pattern of granting contracts to people with administration ties. While Our Rescue's current CEO, Derek Benner, served as executive director of the Department of Homeland Security's Homeland Security Investigations. Holy shit! During the first Trump administration. They're the worst. Those are the people that shot me in the back and others. Last week, the administration posted a notice on the Federal Registry announcing its intent to give Burke Law Group. Wait, don't we know Burke Law Group? a small Texas firm, up to $150 million to represent unaccompanied immigrant children in government custody. However, Burke Law Group withdrew from the process and will no longer get the contract after NPR and other news outlets reported on its ties to the Trump administration and lack of experience in immigration matters. A co-founder of Burke Law Group, Marcella Burke, served in the first Trump administration in both the Interior Department and the Environmental Protection Agency. Jeffrey Hall, a founding partner, currently serves as an assistant administrator at the EPA. Oh my God. In a post on X on Tuesday, Burke Law Group said they were, quote, approached by the Trump administration to fill a gap in legal services, and we were considering how we might help. But the firm said it had decided not to apply for a grant or a contract with the U.S. Office of Refugee Resettlement. A spokesperson with the ORR confirmed Burke Law Group's decision. The agency told NPR it had intended to enter into a cooperative agreement with the law firm, which the agency said had a strong geographic presence in Texas. But the Houston-based company specializes in advising companies on complex environmental, regulatory, and enforcement matters. So nothing to do with immigration, nothing to do with children, nothing to do with actual law. According to its website, only 2 of the firm's 24 attorneys specialize in immigration and asylum cases, and I would question that. The proposed contract for Burke Law Group would have only covered about 1,800 children in HHS shelters, a nonprofit that represented the minors, told reporters last week. So, yeah, that's really bad. That's really, 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 really bad. Now, another big topic introduced to me by our beautiful Teresa, the most beautiful lady in the world. The beautiful, beautiful girl. And I thought, oh, wow, this sounds interesting. So this is, now we're moving into South America. Come on with me to South America. Teresa had shared this story, and so we want to read this, but then it gets interesting. Well, of course it's interesting anyway, but then it gets really interesting in terms of what's happening in Ecuador, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And you get to see the beautiful minds of the beautiful gal squad working on shit. And yes, they're basically, yeah. They spoke English, wore U.S. flags, and attacked fishermen. Who were they? Ecuadorian crews plying the waters of the Pacific have been targeted by a mysterious outfit equipped with drones. Some sailors appear to have lost their lives. Far out in the Pacific Ocean, Ecuadorian fishermen have been attacked by unidentified gringos using drones, survivors say, spurring a mystery over whether the American military, the armed forces of another country, or private military contractors. Oh, I think there's more. Just got a breaking news thingy. Uh-oh. Oh, wait, I'm missing the thing. Oh, man, I'm so stupid. Hold on. Everybody, hold on. Everybody in the club getting tipsy. I just want to see if I can do this. Can I do this? I'm going to do it. I don't know if I can do it. Did they say you can't? You can't. Oops. Oops. 400. Are you not supposed to listen to it on whatever? Oh, thank you. WAPO. Oops, it's hanging up on me. Covert CIA program said to be behind mysterious attacks on the Galapagos. The fuck? Wait, what's going on? Oh, it's calling.
Welcome to a Cisco meeting.
Hell yeah.
Enter the call ID followed by the pound key.
Oh, it hung up on me. It must be too busy. Is it too busy? Damn. Let's try again. It is not taking my call. Meh, who cares? Probably enough viewers to cause a thing. Yeah. Let me go to this. Hold on. That's one I gotta look at. Just keep trying. I will. Covert CIA program in the thing. God damn it, Galapagos. What the fuck is wrong with us? All right, let me try again. Hold on. Hi. Hi, everybody. Hi, I'm just trying to call. I'm just trying to find out what's happening. I'm just trying. Oh, Jimmy Mac. Hello, Jimmy Mac. Oh, that's really cute. Monster Pants. What a great name. Oh, boy, it is really just busy. Busy. Attacking the Galapagos tracks with the penguin tariffs. There you go, Josh. Josh knows. Okay. 712-190-216. Really? 712-902-1216. No, it's too busy. All right, that's fine. We'll try and watch. Maybe somebody's doing the it'll get you in. Just keep trying. Okay, I'm gonna keep trying. All right, let me go back to this story. Let me go back to the story.
Welcome to a Cisco meeting. Please enter the call ID followed by the pound key.
Oh, now I need the pound key. Now I need it. 7121-90216 pound. No. Okay. That's fine. No problem. All right. I want to talk about Ecuador. Then we're going to go to the Galapagos thing. But interestingly enough, Eric fucking Prince, and this is discovered by, or shared with me at least, by Teresa, by Tina. Eric Prince has been working with Ecuador for months. So we're going to learn about how this is fuckery. This is always fuckery. Damn work question. Was Terry Newsom always in Illinois? Who's Terry Newsom? I don't know who Terry Newsom is. I don't know who that is, Peace Love. I'm so sorry. All right. Far out in the Pacific Ocean, Ecuadorian fishermen have been attacked by unidentified gringos using drones, survivors say, spurring a mystery over whether American military, armed forces of another country, or private military contractors, along with the CIA, are behind the strikes. One fishing boat has been lost at sea since January, the UN says, with 8 people still missing and presumed dead. The survivors of 2 other vessels said they came under attack in March by English-speaking assailants wearing matching uniforms with American flag patches, but without any clear insignia to link them to an official government force. Some of the surviving fishermen said they had been hauled out of the water, questioned, and then handed over to El Salvador's Navy before being released. The Pentagon has denied involvement, as has the U.S. Coast Guard. Survivors have also said that a plane followed and seemingly surveilled them before the strikes. The New York Times analyzed flight data and found that a maritime patrol plane based out of a military base in El Salvador flew in the direction of all 3 boats in the days before they were attacked. The pilots on board spoke English with American accents, according to air traffic control communication recordings. And as the boats moved through the ocean, the plane's course also shifted to remain pointed at each of them over several days, the Times analysis found. Flight tracking data shows that the plane flew toward the boat that went missing in January, the Fiorella, on 4 different days, including the day it disappeared. The patrol plane. But the plane does not appear on the Pentagon's list of active aircraft. Instead, it was registered last October to a company that lists its address at a private mailbox in a UPS store in Richmond, Virginia. According to FAA records. Isn't that, he is a right poop that is going to have Mike Flynn on his podcast soon, and I'm sure he's part of the election fraud stuff. I don't know if I know his name, but I'll take a look. Thank you for that. I don't really know who Terry Newsom is. I haven't heard his name mentioned in the election shit, but that doesn't mean anything. I'm sure there's a lot more newbies also joining in. Mike Flynn's on a mission. He's on a mission to make this happen, by the way. He's on a mission because you know what else Mike Flynn knows? He committed crimes he's going to be held accountable for. He has crimes he needs to hide. So, yeah, it's really incumbent that all these assholes have some way to stop democratic process. Yeah. Awesome. Since the Pentagon started blowing up boats in the Caribbean Sea and Pacific Ocean last September, accusing them of being used for drug trafficking, dozens of vessels have been attacked, killing at least 221 people. Yeah, we're just going to use El Salvador or Argentina, or there's a million countries down there now we can use. Washington has not been shy about claiming the strikes, often publishing footage on social media of tiny fishing boats cutting through the water before being obliterated by American munitions. These attacks, however, had gone unclaimed. It is certainly possible that the U.S. or some other military has conducted clandestine attacks on boats in the region, but the many lingering questions surrounding the fishing boat attacks have led some experts to wonder whether a private military contractor, who could that be? He has a Facebook page, and the hag guy was talking about him. The flag guy was talking. Oh, well, then he's definitely part of it. Let me look at Terry Newsom. I don't even know who he is. He's a new one. Podcast, I guess. What's his show called? What's his show called? Behind Enemy Lines, is that him? Yes. Oh, yes. Oh, I see. Oh, wow. It looks... You gotta look at this guy's website. Look, it's Abe in fatigues. Holy shit. It's Abe in fatigues. It's Abe in fatigues. That's Terry Newsom's website. Shit. Holy shit. This guy's a nutbag. Oh, support my pillow. Yeah, use my code. He has a code. He's definitely part of the crew. Holy shit. Holy shit. Okay. Let's finish this one up. It would be one thing if the U.S. didn't... Oh, wait, excuse me. It is certainly possible that U.S. or some other military... but the many lingering questions around the fishing boat attacks have led some experts to wonder whether a private military contractor, Eric Prince, has been hired by the U.S. government or one of its Latin American allies, Ecuador, possibly El Salvador, where the plane has operated. It would be one thing if the U.S. didn't have overt maritime strike campaign, but they do, and they're posting snuff films of boats going up in flames regularly, and that's what makes this even more squirrely, said Brian Finucane, a former State Department lawyer who specializes in the laws of war. He worked in the Obama and Biden administrations as well as in the first Trump one. Who are these? Yeah, he's a nutbag, peace love, nutty bag. Who are these people that are operating and under what authority? Mr. Finucane asked. And are they using a UPS store as their company address? Come on. Ecuadorian and Salvadoran officials did not respond. In November, the plane that tracked the courses of the fishing boats was flown from Tennessee to El Salvador and stationed on the military side of an airport there, flight data show. During that time, the Pentagon began increasing its air assets at another nearby airport in El Salvador to support its counter-narcotics campaign in Latin America. Air traffic controllers told the patrol plane to park at the military apron. A satellite image from January shows the plane parked near military aircraft hundreds of yards away from the closest civilian craft, and images taken from the ground show that the plane's tail is adorned with the flag of El Salvador. Still, it's unclear what role, if any, the plane played in the role of attacks. Well, there it is. The Trump administration has made Latin America one of its top foreign policy priorities. Yes, you can read the National Security Plan and see how that's very much part of the American technate and that they're willing to extend. Hi, Kathy, my love. I see you come in at the end of every show. You're so sweet. And I'm unable to acknowledge you in that moment because they don't let me talk. I love you, Kathy. I love you so much. Oh, I love you. I'm so glad you came in before the show ended because I want to tell you personally how much I love you. Yeah, exactly. Look at the National Security Plan. You'll find out exactly what the plans are. Some private military contracts have shifted in kind. Earlier this year, the Trump administration No. The Trump administration discussed issuing letters of marque, which were used by the U.S. government during the 18th century before the nation had built up its navy. I'm so sorry. No, absolutely. Peace, love. Thank you for introducing me to him. I hadn't heard of him. I'm very, very glad. I am very, very glad. The letters would allow the U.S. government to contract private security forces with maritime capabilities and protect Washington's interest at sea and detain vessel crews. The letters, according to 3 people with knowledge of the discussions, were circulated among various agencies for their input in May and were supposed to complement the Pentagon's boat strike campaign in the Pacific Ocean and the Caribbean Sea. Discussions around letters of marque, is it marque or marque? It's marque, right? Seemed to stall around June, and the Pentagon would not say whether any have been issued. When asked about the attacks on the fishing boats, it said, "We have no knowledge of, nor were the U.S. Southern Command forces involved in the incidents described." Well, that's plausible deniability. I hope Central America remembers the last time an American president tried to do this. Well, you know what? They're just putting in the strongmen, Jim. If you saw my show on, I don't know, Monday, we talked about, bye, sweetheart, bye, gal. Thank you so much, Mark. Okay, thanks. We talked about all the countries that are really lining up with authoritarian presidents now and Trump picks. So it's very important that we know what's happening, because they definitely have designs on all of Central and South America. Yeah, good to see you, gal. Teresa, it's from Jennifer Welch, but other possibilities, Scott Jennings and Carrie Lake. Yeah, I bet you it's going to be Scott Jennings. I'll bet you anything. I will bet you my fucking, I don't know what, left shoe. I think that's going to be Scott Jennings. That sounds really good. Carrie Lake is fine, but I don't know. She does actually fold under pressure. She gets too bothered. And I think Scott Jennings could at least not get bothered because he has no soul. You know what I mean? And not that Carrie Lake has a soul, but you know what I mean. A3C new motto announced yesterday. We do bad things to bad people. What's A3C? Uh-oh, I don't know what that means. Private military contracts have been active in the hemisphere. Eric Prince of Darkness, whose firm Blackwater was a notorious private military contractor hired by the U.S. government in Iraq, began touring Latin America in the lead up to the 2024 election. Mr. Prince has met with the leaders of El Salvador and Ecuador to discuss regional security, although details of those conversations are unknown. Are they, though? Because I have some stories. So are they? There he is, the Prince of Darkness, with his moobs walking through. Wow, look at those muscles. Look at those guns. One of Mr. Prince's security firms was contracted by the Haitian government last year to fight the gangs, a deal the State Department authorized. As part of that contract, Mr. Prince's company offered maritime services to patrol Haiti's coast, according to an official in Haiti familiar with the contract. A spokesperson for Mr. Prince said that neither Eric nor any entities affiliated with him have any relation to these events involving the Ecuadorian boats. America's Counter Cartel Coalition. I don't even know what that is. That's so interesting. A spokesperson for Mr. Prince said, oh yeah, blah, blah, blah. While the Pentagon strikes use sophisticated equipment, including attack planes and MQ-9 Reaper drones, the attacks on the Ecuadorian fishing vessels have been carried out by rudimentary drones fitted with explosives and deployed from a vessel manned by, quote, gringos with American flag patches who never identified themselves, a lawyer representing some of the fishermen said. Ever since the Pentagon began striking boats last year, Ecuadorian fishermen said they have been scared to go out into the water. But the crew members of the Negra Francisca Duarte II had bills to pay and mouths to feed, they said, so they set out to sea in early March. Satisfied with their catch, they said they headed back to the mainland, entering Ecuador's territorial waters in mid-March. That morning, they were stopped by the nation's Coast Guard, inspected, and then cleared for passage, according to interviews with 5 of the crew. That afternoon, they said, they noticed they were being followed by a blue boat on the horizon. About an hour later, drones flew toward them and then dropped explosive devices onto their ship, injuring several crewmen and engulfing their vessel in flames. The boys were there, hurt and scared. Some got a fire extinguisher to try and put out the fire, but there were too many flames, the captain of the Negra Francisca, Hernan Flores, told the Times. As the fire grew, some of the crew members dived into the ocean while others jumped into smaller boats attached to the Negra Francisca. They headed toward the blue ship that had been following them, hoping to be saved. We were really scared, Mr. Flores said. As they approached the blue vessel, the crew members on board ordered the fishermen to raise their hands, communicating through a translator, the fishermen said. They said they were then bound, hooded, and held on the deck overnight, receiving no medical attention, even though some were badly injured with open, bleeding wounds. The men who were armed questioned the fishermen, asking whether they were carrying anything illegal. When an injured fisherman replied that they had been inspected by the Ecuadorian Coast Guard shortly before the attack, the men began arguing among each other, seemingly worried, the fisherman said. The next morning, the fishermen said they were transferred to the Salvadoran Coast Guard and taken to a naval base in La Union in El Salvador, where they were treated well. The Salvadoran authorities told them that when they received the Ecuadorian crew, the armed men described their captives only as shipwrecked fishermen. They were then released to the capital, San Salvador, with no charges. So they're left in an entirely different fucking country. What the fuck? What struck Mr. Flores was the inability to identify the group of men on the blue boat, he said. For decades, he said, he had interacted with the navies and coast guards of Ecuador, the United States, and other nations that patrol the waters around Ecuador, one of the world's biggest routes for the illicit cocaine trade. They often sailed boats that clearly identified what branch of government they belonged to, like the Navy or the Coast Guard, and wore uniforms with insignia to match, the fisherman said. But these men wore just the American flag patches, and their vessel did not fly a flag or have any markings on it, the fisherman's lawyer said. A U.S. Coast Guard spokesperson said in a statement that the Coast Guard cutter Bertholf participated in a search for the Negra Francisca as it was only about 70 miles from the fishermen. It said it had found debris from the boat but no survivors and suspended the search after 12 hours. The Coast Guard and the Pentagon denied any knowledge or involvement in the attack. While it remains unclear who carried out the strikes, they came as the Pentagon stepped up its cooperation with allies across Latin America to combat the drug trade. In May, the Pentagon applied pressure on Guatemala to agree to joint U.S. airstrikes and other military action inside its borders to target suspected drug groups. Ecuador agreed to a similar deal earlier this year. It's happening. Last week, U.S. Southern Command announced Joint Task Force Western Hemisphere, setting up the infrastructure for the more ambitious Latin American-wide expansion of its war against drugs. In cooperation with regional allies, the attacks on the Ecuadorian fishermen should be a wake-up call for Latin American governments, argued Juanita Gobertis, who leads the Americas Division at Human Rights Watch, which published its own report on the strikes. The U.S. government is prioritizing operations based on weak intelligence and illegal use of force, she said. Yeah, it's true. It's true. It's true. It's true. It's true. It's true. Let's see. And then okay, this is what I want to go to next. This was provided by Teresa along the lines of this whole story, because I think Tina, Teresa, and I don't know if anyone else joined in, but we were all going back and forth, and these ladies kept dropping all of these receipts on what's happening in the world and in Ecuador, Latin America, etc. So Teresa shared this little piece. Wow, you guys are really fucking weird. Okay, let's get this right here. Okay. And I'll make it bigger. Oh, whoops, sorry. Okay, well, it's gonna have to be that way. Ecuador enlists, this is more than a year old. So this is from spring of last year. Ecuador enlists founder of Blackwater Private Army as ally in war on crime. So this happened in March of 2025. It's already on land. Yeah, we're doing it in Guatemala. Yeah, absolutely. Ecuador's President Daniel Noboa has announced a strategic alliance with the Donald Trump supporting founder of private military firm Blackwater to supposedly reinforce his controversial war on crime. Noboa, the right-wing heir to a South American banana empire, announced the partnership with Eric Prince on social media Tuesday night. We've established a strategic alliance to strengthen our capabilities in the fight against narco-terrorism and to protect our waters from illegal fishing. Noboa tweeted alongside a photograph of the two men sitting together. Organized crime has sown fear and believed it can operate with impunity. Their time is running out. International aid is beginning to flow to Ecuador, added the president, who is seeking re-election in the second round of the country's presidential election next month. I wonder, did he won, right? Noboa won. I'm pretty sure. Ecuador's president offered no further details of the partnership between his government and Prince, a Navy SEAL turned multimillionaire security contractor with close ties to Dump and a bunch of murders. Yeah. The announcement appeared to bolster Noboa's attempt to portray himself as an iron-fisted and anti-crime crusader ahead of the April 13th runoff against his left-wing rival Luisa Gonzalez. Noboa's administration announced on Sunday a $1 million reward for one of Ecuador's most notorious drug bosses, Jose Adolfo Macias Villamar, who is known by the nickname Fito. All right, so this gives you an idea that, let me see if I can. The news that Blackwater, let me finish this up. The news that Blackwater's former CEO would join Noboa's campaign prompted outrage and trepidation, given the military contractor's track record of involvement in abuses, including the murder of 14 Iraqi civilians in 2007 after the U.S. invasion. Does he intend to do the same here? He is already doing it, sweetheart. Ecuadorian lawyer Marlon Martinez Molina asked on X, accusing Noboa of planning to introduce paramilitarism to the South American country by importing foreign mercenaries. Noboa is the death of Ecuador. There is no end to the terror in this country. Activist Soledad Angus Freire also voiced despair, warning, we're going straight off the cliff. Yeah. It's bad. Bad news. Bad news. It's bad news. I need a drink of coffee. Hold on. Now we learn. Hi, Neil. Oh my God, Neil. So glad you were able to join. I know I was late. Now, thanks to Gal, who just shared this breaking news, literal breaking news, covert CIA program to be behind mysterious attacks on Galapagos boats. Well, what would be the thing to say that they aren't attacking Ecuador? A surveillance plane flew from El Salvador toward the fishing boats before drones attacked. And that's what we just talked about. Let's see if we can get to the point of the matter. The mysterious strikes targeting multiple Ecuadorian fishing boats near the Galapagos Islands this year were carried out as part of a covert CIA program. So I guess they were lying when they said there was no U.S. participation in that blue boat thing. Oops, they lied. So they lied. Yeah, he won, I figured. The mysterious. Okay, so while many details about the agency's involvement were not clear, one person with knowledge of the matter said the strikes were part of a covert action program, a type of secret operation overseas that is approved by the president, but where the role of the U.S. government is not publicly acknowledged. I'm so sorry. The person spoke on the condition of anonymity, blah, blah, blah. No agent or agency or government has claimed responsibility for the incidents, including the disappearance in January of a fishing vessel and 8 of its crew members. The CIA's involvement adds a new and secretive dimension into the Trump administration's otherwise highly publicized campaign against alleged drug traffickers at sea. It was not clear whether other actors were involved, such as private contractors. I mean, excuse me. There's already news that for a year plus, fucking Eric Prince and his fucking contractor companies have a fucking contract with the Ecuadorian governments. And if you don't think that that's coming through the United States, you're fucking sorely mistaken. Idiots. Yeah, breaking. Government lies about CIA activities. Yeah. It was not clear whether, private contractors, which is, we know they were. CIA declined to comment for this report. Of course, several members of congressional intelligence committees contacted by the Post declined. The strikes are separate from the Pentagon's campaign against alleged drug boats that began last fall. Those strikes have been fiercely criticized by human rights groups and some Democratic lawmakers who said they are extrajudicial murders. Which they are. The administration has justified the strikes by equating narco-terrorists with militants assaulting the United States. Well, unfortunately, we're not at war with any of those countries, and so these are crimes against humanity. Nuremberg 2.0, bitches. Let's make it happen. The 8 missing Ecuadorian nationals were aboard a 52-foot long-line fishing boat called the Fiorella. The men on 2 boats that were struck in March, the Negra Francisca Duarte II and Don Maca, all survived. In interviews with the Post, survivors said that small quadcopter drones either dropped munitions on the vessels or detonated by crashing into them. The men said they were then taken aboard a nearby ship, hooded and cuffed by armed men, and transported to El Salvador. Oh, they were returned to Ecuador. Okay. In each of the incidents, a high-end business jet equipped with specialized surveillance technology flew from El Salvador in the direction of the fishing vessels on the days of the strikes and in the days prior, according to flight and ship tracking data, which we just talked about. Details on the plane and the pattern of its flights suggest that it may be linked to the secret CIA program. Gosh, Eric Prince is working for the CIA. Trump's going to make America MAGA again. I don't know. What do you mean? Or MAMA acronym? I don't know what that means. So yeah, we saw this part. Radio communications and flight tracking data reviewed by the Post show that the plane, a Cessna Citation Longitude, arriving in El Salvador from Tennessee. Why Tennessee? It flew under a U.S. registration number, according to radio transmissions, and taxied to. How can we not tell who this plane comes from? What in the world can you tell me? This is an unmarked plane. Literally. Unmarked plane. Unmarked. Wearing American flags. Oh my God. It flew under a U.S. registration number, according to radio transmissions, and taxied to a military section of the airport, which we talked about. Available FAA documents show no aircraft registered to that number. What? We're going to be in trouble, y'all. Okay. They are going to go. This is why the election is so critical and at risk. Because these folks have committed crimes. They know they've committed crimes, and they know that there are people chomping at the bit to investigate and then remove, indict, and convict. Yikes. The FAA requires all active aircraft to be registered with the agency, with exceptions that include periods of ownership transfer and the aircraft of the National Defense Forces of the United States, according to federal law. That registration number has been reserved by a company that had no obvious website and lists its address as a mailbox in the UPS store in Virginia. Photos show that the plane has been equipped with surveillance technology, including a belly radome, an enclosure on the underside to shield radar equipment, the New York Times reported on the plane Wednesday. The plane operated out of Ilopango International Airport, a small airport that was a hub for covert U.S.-backed operations in Nicaragua in the 1980s. The airport on the outskirts of San Salvador is separate from El Salvador's main international airport, where the U.S. military maintains an official outpost. Who's going to stop them? I don't know. You? Are you going to stop them, Tony? Are you going to stop them? On January 20th, the day Fiorella vanished, communications with the tower captured the plane's departure shortly before dawn. Phoenix 701, the pilot said in English with an American accent, departing runway 33. 3 incidents have alarmed human rights organizations, spurred probe by a prosecutor in Ecuador, which we're going to talk about, and left some Democratic lawmakers in Washington pushing for answers. In response to the questions from the Post, the U.S. military denied knowledge of the incidents. Ecuador's armed forces did not respond. The Salvadoran government did not respond to requests for comment after the attack on the Negra Francisca Duarte. El Salvador's Navy said it had conducted a humanitarian operation to transport 16 shipwreck survivors, all Ecuadorian nationals. 2 of them were injured, with one of them burned on his back, and were taken to the hospital, the Navy said. Oh. Family members hold up photos of the 8 missing crew members of the Fiorella during a gathering in April in Yaramillo, Ecuador. Fucking ridiculous. The attacks on the Don Maca and the Negra Francisca Duarte bear little resemblance to the Pentagon's ongoing campaign against suspected drug traffickers in the Caribbean, and Eastern Pacific. Those strikes, which have killed 221 people since September, have targeted smaller go-fast boats and semi-submersibles. The strikes have been conducted openly by the U.S. military using a mix of drones and manned aircraft, including the AC-130J attack plane favored by commandos. Vessels have also been destroyed with laser-guided bombs and precision missiles, the Post previously reported. Can't speak. The administration has provided no evidence of trafficking in those strikes and has released few details about where and when and how the boats were targeted. It has refused bipartisan calls by Congress to release a video showing a U.S. military strike killing 2 shipwrecked people who survived an initial attack on their vessel. But as critics push for more transparency about those attacks, the CIA's program signals an entirely secretive phase of the boat strike campaign. It's unclear why the Trump administration touts its military attacks against alleged drug boats. It would engage in a separate clandestine effort targeting vessels, said former U.S. officials who previously worked in the region. It begs the question about why you would need to do this, one of the former officials said. What would be the purpose of the secrecy? What do you think? President Trump has granted the CIA new authorities to counter narcotics trafficking, signing an authorization for covert action aimed at countering transnational criminal organizations, including through lethal force, the Post has reported. The agency has surged resources and personnel to Latin America. In Venezuela, CIA operatives on the ground helped locate and track then President Nicolas Maduro, who was seized in January by U.S. Special Operations Forces and detained on narco-terrorism charges. The agency has also expanded its operations in the Caribbean and Mexico, where 2 CIA officers died in a car accident in April as they returned from the scene of a counter-narcotics raid with Mexican security officials. While the Fiorella's last known location was 300 miles from Ecuador's shores in international waters, the Negra Francisca was inside Ecuador's exclusive economic zone surrounding the Galapagos Islands. The Don Maca was just outside the economic zone. There's the fishing boats. Nice paint. No evidence has publicly emerged that the crew members were involved in drug trafficking, and survivors have told the Post they were merely fishing. But the Galapagos Islands have increasingly become a hub for drug traffickers, where local fishermen are known to pick up jobs delivering gas to smugglers heading to the United States. In the days before Fiorella disappeared, the crew noticed the drones in the sky and a plane circling above. Dimas Ignacio Alvarez, one of the 2 survivors from the crew, told the Post. Flight tracking data shows that Phoenix 701 flew toward the Fiorella's location on January 17th, 18th, and 20th. When on the last of those flights, it traveled 750 miles toward the Fiorella before disappearing from publicly available flight tracking data, possibly having entered an area with sparse coverage, as is common over vast oceans. The Phoenix 701 reappeared in the data an hour before it touched down at Ilopango at 9:30 a.m. Roughly 2.5 hours later, about midday, the Fiorella broadcast its location for the final time. Alvarez said he and other crew members were out on a skiff setting fishing lines that day when they saw a plume of smoke beyond the horizon. The next morning, as they searched for the Fiorella, they filmed an object bobbing on the water. There's the flag from the ship, one said in the video. We're lost, and the ship is lost. The Don Maca set out from the coastal Ecuadorian city of Manta on March 18th. As a 65-foot boat sailed along a route that would take it north of the Galapagos Islands, its crew of 20 was on high alert. They were aware of the Fiorella's disappearance 2 months earlier, and the Negra Francisca Duarte had been attacked just 1 day before. So when they noticed drones nearby, they grew worried that they were being watched, a crew member and the boat owners told the Post. On March 25th, one of the men recorded a video of an unidentifiable. You are fishing on a boat right now? Oh, and you bet I got some weed. Hell, that's heaven right there, Josh. Weed on a boat. Venezuela still has a Hamas training camp active there. Oh, really? That's kind of a long way for them to fly, don't you think? I think it is. Although the Post could not confirm precisely when it was recorded, the video was shared in a chat during a time when the Phoenix 701 was in the air, according to a review of timestamps and screenshots of text messages. At night, the crew members noticed a boat nearby with a red light, which they assumed was a patrol boat, fisherman Johnny Palacios said in an interview. But we felt reassured because we were just fishing, he said. We felt confident the patrol would keep us safe or something like that, but it was the exact opposite. They were our enemies. saw a bare metal no numbers C-141 in Athens in 1990, along with an evergreen 747 on our airbase. CIA. Yeah, there's a lot of CIA shit, right? Like, do we need that? Do we need the CIA anymore? Do we really need the CIA anymore? I don't think so. I think there's too many intelligence agencies. And I think there's way too many, like, I don't think we need them. I'm sorry. That's my opinion.
That's my opinion!
The following morning, Phoenix departed Ilopango Airport and, as it had on 2 previous days, flew in the direction of the Don Maca, which was sailing about 850 miles away. Phoenix 701, the pilot said to the tower, "So long, we'll see you soon." And just like on those days, its transponder stopped registering as it headed over the Pacific. Oh, I didn't know that's where the Galapagos Islands. I didn't know the Galapagos Islands were so close to Ecuador. Oh, and fun fact, there is only one intelligence agency. Oh, I thought there were multiple. I don't know. They don't seem to. I don't know. I just don't think we need the CIA. How about that? I don't think we need the CIA. I think they're useless. All they do is kill people. And they don't even kill, like, they haven't sent in anyone to kill Putin, right? So they're clearly not, they're not that good. The plane returned to Ilopango at 1 p.m. I don't really support any kind of assassination. I think everyone should be held accountable for their crimes. Okay. I don't want them assassinated. 4 hours later, as the cook aboard the Don Maca was making ceviche, he spotted a drone and waved at it. Palacios said the drone appeared to drop a small black tube at the time. An explosion shook the boat. The windows of the boat's cabin shattered, Palacios said. One crew member who had been hanging his laundry near the explosion began bleeding from his eyes. The men rushed to the front of the boat as a second hit from a second drone left the boat's motor disabled, Palacios said. A fixed-wing drone, which he estimated to be at least 13 feet long. C-Li-A? Oh, okay. Is it because he didn't get the job? All right. A fixed-wing drone, which circled above. Palacios waved a T-shirt in the air as he pleaded for help from a nearby boat, a video shows. An alarm blared in the background. Palacios told the Post he had seen the boat before. He said it was blue with a white cabin, a winch, and 3 shipping containers in the back. Oh, this is them on the boat during him trying to signal for help. This is fucking ridiculous.
Está armado la gente, está armado la gente.
Fuck this country. Fuck this country. The small quadcopter drones that crew members said were used during the attacks on the Don Maca and the Negra Francisca generally have a range of a few miles, suggesting that those piloting them were relatively close range. The men on the blue ship motioned for the crew of the Don Maca to approach and asked how many were injured, Palacios said. Once the fishermen were on board, they said armed men immediately handcuffed them and covered their faces with hoods. Palacios said he got a glimpse of the men and noticed they were wearing khaki uniforms and carrying long brown rifles. Some were tattooed. He estimated that there were more than 20 people on the boat, and with the exception of 2 Spanish interpreters, most seemed to be speaking English. Despite the fact that the Don Maca had been sailing much closer to Ecuador's Galapagos Islands, Palacios said that the ship picked them up about 6 hours later was a Salvadoran Navy vessel. The Salvadorans told the men that they had been called by the Americans 2 days earlier, well before the boat was attacked, to pick up a group of shipwrecked people, Palacios said. As with the crew of the Negra Francisca Duarte just days before, the fishermen were taken to the Salvadoran city La Union, where they were interviewed by police, then handed over to immigration authorities in San Salvador to process their flights home. Oh my God. According to interviews with survivors from both ships and the attorneys representing them. El Salvador's Navy has long been anti-narcotics partner for the United States, and in recent years has announced several major drug seizures at sea, at times hundreds of miles off its coast. In 2000, after the U.S. withdrew from Panama, Washington signed an agreement with El Salvador to use the country's main international airport in Comalapa for aerial surveillance and monitor suspected drug traffickers at sea. The Trump administration has found a close ally in Salvadoran President Nayib Bukele, whose aggressive crackdown on the country's gangs has led to a major reduction in homicides and inspired a wave of right-wing leaders across Latin America, including in Ecuador. But in doing so, he has imprisoned more than 1% of El Salvador's population, curtailed civil liberties, and consolidated his grip on power. So would that be a good thing, Washington Post? You have an opinion about that? Last year, he cut a deal with the Trump administration to detain more than 250 migrants. We know that. Maritime smuggling of cocaine. Okay. Oh, actually, I do want to keep reading this. I don't care about how much cocaine they got. Late last year, as the Pentagon surged troops to the region to be part of a military pressure campaign against Venezuela and to attack suspected traffickers, there was a significant uptick in U.S. military flights in and out of the Comalapa airport, a second defense official said. The Ilopango airport, from which the Phoenix 701 departed and landed, played a key role in the previous U.S.-backed covert operation 85 and 86. I'm not going to really go too deep into the history of that. I want to get to the part. John Feely, a former U.S. ambassador to Panama and a one-time Marine pilot, told the Post that he questioned, among other things, why this kind of surveillance aircraft would be flying out of Ilopango rather than Comalapa. Well, I guess it was to kind of hide themselves, but they sure didn't do it. I hate Trump Putin. It's painful, isn't it? It seemed to be part of an unusual operation, he said, run out of a very non-traditional command. Well, okay, we still don't know who they are. The base model of the Cessna Citation longitude plane costs about $30 million. A handful of surveillance-equipped variants have been revealed by independent researchers using publicly available records. At least 3 were modified with special mission capabilities after leaving the factory, according to FAA airworthiness documents first analyzed by the open source aircraft research group JAN. One of those planes appeared in 2023 in Fiji, where officials said it had been loaned by the U.S. government for use by regional leaders, according to regional news reports at the time. On April 9th, as survivors from the Negra Francisca Duarte and the Don Maca began speaking to local media about the attacks, tracking data showed Phoenix 701 lifting off from Ilopango. It didn't head out into the Pacific. Instead, shortly after 4 p.m., it landed in San Antonio. Its whereabouts are currently unclear. We have a problem. Well, let me tell you. Yeah. That's it. Hold on. Because then what happened is Tina and Teresa started going crazy. They started going cuckoo banana towns over this and shared all their data. So we read that already. And this, so more perfect union track down the billionaires rebuilding Gaza. And this is related to the contractors in this story. But where's the story about the Ecuadorian prosecutor? Who killed the prosecutor? Tina and Khashoggi's ghost. The reason I'm on Twitter, Khashoggi's ghost. I love her so much. Top prosecutor of Trump war crimes is killed in street. And it's from the communists over at Midas Touch. No. Let me do this. Because now the prosecutor that was trying to represent and go after the boat strikes also.
The prosecutor investigating U.S. boat strikes and torture allegations in Ecuador in connection with the Trump war crimes blowing up those boats off the coast of Venezuela, the prosecutor was assassinated in a courageous scoop by Camilla Lourdes Galarza. She writes about how she uncovered NASA images and videos of the U.S. Coast Guard corroborating testimony of victims. And then the prosecutors working on the case and the main prosecutor was shot and killed in broad daylight. Crystal Ball talks about this deeply disturbing story about how the survivors of the U.S. boat strikes, Operation Southern Spear, as Trump and Hegseth and Southern Command are calling it, how these survivors were kidnapped when they returned to Ecuador. They were tortured for days by the military. The prosecutor investigating their claims was just assassinated after the prosecutor's boss, who effectively was like the attorney general, was telling the prosecutor, stay away, just say it was a random disappearance, don't dig any further. And this prosecutor, her name was Alexandra Bravo. She continued to investigate the allegations by 36 survivors who say that after they survived U.S. strikes, they got back to Ecuador. They say they were tortured, that they were kidnapped, and she was trying to get to the bottom of it and killed over there. Upon arriving at the crime scene, officers say they found 5 9mm shell casings and Bravo's injured driver, but no sign of a police detail that was supposed to be assigned to protect her. The police directorate, which operates entirely under the executive branch, launched a probe to determine, was there an internal security breach, according to this article. Now, who sits at the top of that government? None other than a guy named Daniel Noboa. Who's Noboa? He's from Miami. He's a Miami-born billionaire who Trump put in Ecuador.
So yeah. So now all of a sudden the prosecutor who's going after these boat strike things is killed, is murdered, is assassinated. Wonder who did that. See if I can find one more story about it. Oh, wait, hold on. Oh, I also want to read that too. Okay, wait, I'm going to read that too. Yeah, so to wrap that, the bottom line is there is a lot of fuckery going on as we speak in Latin America, in Ecuador, and it feels very much like the 80s. It feels like hearing the news stories of all of the FARC and all the shit that we did in Latin America, all the intervention that we did that really was very bad at the time. And even in retrospect, I remember there was a time when we looked back and they killed her. She's a female. It's going back to a time, maybe not. I mean, maybe this is always, it's still happening, but it felt like in the 80s to me as a young person that we were always fucking around in Latin America and manipulating societies and all that kind of stuff. It was well known that there was covert shit, right? We had, what is that? Not Iran-Contra, but something, I don't know. There's a few. I'm not as well versed on those controversies and those situations, but it's pretty clear that we're back, and we're also using people who are unmarked, probably Eric Prince's people, I would imagine, to do the dirty work of actually manipulating these countries and putting strongmen in place that we can control, or that this regime can control. No one is asking where all the money is from the oil that we took from Venezuela. You know, like the level of corruption in this regime is just mind-blowing. Oh, bye, Kathy, my love. I'll see you later. I love you. Bye, girl. Yeah. So there you go. Let's move on to another situation. Endless situations. Honduras, Guatemala. I mean, there's all kinds of strong men being put into place in different countries down there. So, yeah. Crontas were Nicaragua as opposed to Sandinistas, right? And this is where I get a little, like, I'm not as well versed in those controversies. I vaguely remember that from the 80s as a little kid. Yes, like a backdrop to culture. Very good way of saying it. Doctor's waiting. Oh, Kathy, my love. Please have a good visit. Love you. Clark Cusack, death squads. Yeah. So it's all of those things. I just remember distinctly in the 80s being aware that Reagan specifically was a horrible president and that a lot of fuckery was going on. And it was just, there was really good people that were speaking against it. I wasn't as engaged at that time. I was in college and getting into work and all that kind of stuff. So I was up my own ass. But yeah, I need to know more about like how we dealt with Latin America in the past, because we're back and we're doing it. Yeah. They just got the strong leader they wanted in Colombia. Exactly. It's country by country. I think I did a piece on that on Monday where someone had listed on Blue Sky all of the countries that have been dictators that are propped up by either Trump or the right wing. USA supported client dictators in brutal repression of leftist populist resistance. Exactly. Widely understood to be communists, and that was the game that they played. Same game that they're playing now, somehow painting people as communists to make it scary. Well, I'm sorry, I'm not scared. I've been in communist countries. I've been in the Soviet Union when it was the Soviet Union, so I know what it's like. Might see some of the hand waving of Rubico's recent speech about the long war against the leftists. Yeah, little narco, as I think Tina or Teresa calls him, little narco, aka Marco Rubio, is hell bent on controlling. It's almost like Mountainhead, where the guy's like, "Who's going to take Venezuela? Who's going to run Venezuela? We need someone to run Argentina." And one of the Mountainhead billionaires is like, "I'll do it." That's kind of what it feels like. In many ways. So yeah, I should pull up Rubio's speech. Hold on, let me do that. Actually, we have time. Rubio. I didn't even actually watch that speech. I'll be honest with you. Speech on Latin America. Is it the oh no, that's 5 months ago. Is this it? No. I think that you could actually do this a little easier. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, here we go. Is this it? Shield of... No, that's not it. Nope, that's not it. I'm sorry. Tools, any duration, anytime, past week. I see like little 30-second ones, but I wanted just a little more. Dude, yeah, Eric Prince is definitely. See, that's what I want to see. I want to see who's flying that fucking Phoenix 701. That's what I want. They used active duty. Hi, Steph Duder. Welcome back. They used active duty down there in the 80s. Half my all crews flew ops down there. Wow. Oh my gosh. The terror of the 70s and 80s is a better lens than that movie. Yeah. Shoot, where is it? I wonder why they just, because I remember where did he make that speech? Is it some kind of like, oh, they're definitely Meowing Star, you've nailed it. This is exactly what the end game is. They've been carving up the world in preparation for a massive resource shortages. Climate collapse is already showing brutality, and it's going to keep intensifying. This is absolutely spot fucking on. I agree. It's about resources. It's about money. It's about dominance, imperialism, all the things. Can't find that speech, but I will come back to that. We'll come back to South America. The other thing I want to talk about, I won't be able to talk about it today, but I want to talk about it maybe tomorrow, is Sudan. I heard a beautiful piece on KPFA this morning about Sudan and what's happening down there. And it's something that we've talked about before, but I want to come back to the Sudan because it is absolute massacre. It is an absolute mess. And the UAE is supplying arms to the RSF and helping foment the atrocities. So the UAE, not not unknown to be a bad player in the world, is a really bad player when it comes to Africa and in particular the Sudan. So that's something we're going to talk about too. We cannot forget there is an absolute humanitarian crisis happening in Sudan, and people are being massacred. And we're doing nothing. And in fact, we're probably helping. What a fucking world. But then here at home, also making trouble for, justice in the American way. Not to be outdone. Please like the broadcast. Please share if you feel so inclined. Happy to have. We're on X right now and Twitch and YouTube. So feel free to share wherever you can to get more of the word out, that people can hear at least the original reporting on things. That's my goal, is to at least try to get to some fact-based reporting on all of these situations. Yeah, Christians in action. There you go. All right, jumping into domestic. Trump's Justice Department arrests the expert on the far right as part of the SPLC witch hunt. I call it a witch hunt. Prosecutors charge Heidi Beirich with financial crimes as part of the case against Southern Poverty Law Center. This poor lady. God bless you, Heidi. The Justice Department, I was a COO for a nonprofit. So I know what it feels like to be part of I almost can imagine what this woman is feeling right now. Jello Biafra's high priest of harmful matter, tales from the trial. What? Oh my God, Clark. Wait, I need to take a picture of that because I'm not going to remember it. I haven't thought about Jello Biafra in a long time. Okay. Thanks. I love Jello Biafra. The Justice Department on Wednesday arrested a leading expert on far-right extremism, charging her with financial crimes as part of the government's ongoing case against the Southern Poverty Law Center, influenced by all of the right-wing think tanks and others that they have, that SPLC has exposed. So they have a friend in the White House now, so they're going after the SPLC. Federal prosecutors charged Heidi Beirich, who formerly worked as an executive overseeing work monitoring hate groups, with conspiracy to commit wire fraud, conspiracy to submit false statements to a federally insured bank, and conspiracy to commit concealment money laundering. This is fucking rich, isn't it? This is rich. It is rich that we would consider charging someone with fucking money laundering. The fucking Trump accounts at Capital One closed over 300 accounts related to the Trump family recently because they were money laundering. So when this government talks about money laundering and crime, I saw fucking Turd Blanche this morning spewing shit to the Justice Department employees. It is fucking absolute bullshit. This is exactly what this fucking regime is doing. I'm surprised they don't just blow up when they say this stuff in public. Like they just don't, this is how I know there's not a God. This is how I know there's not a God. Bye, peace, love. Have a good day at work. Girl. Love those. I love those rural streams you do. I love it. I love looking at the nature around here. Oh, bye, Clark. Love you so much. So good to see you, bud. Good to see you, bud. We're going to finish up with this. The Justice Department charged the SPLC in April over a now ended program in which it paid informants to infiltrate white supremacist groups. With the full knowledge of their donors, by the way. The donors I donated to the SPLC in the past. I want them to do that work. They actually are one of the nonprofits that actually follows through on their mission, for fuck's sake. The Justice Department charged the SPLC in April over now ended program, blah, blah, blah. The government said the civil rights organization committed financial crimes by laundering money through bank accounts set up on behalf of fictitious entities to protect the identities of their informants. The government says the SPLC deceived donors. They didn't. Donors knew. In fact, donors may not have known about the clandestine program, but that's because you don't want everyone knowing that you have fucking informants in the white supremacy groups. The government says the SPLC deceived donors into thinking they were combating extremism when they were actually supporting it. Bullshit. Oh my God, this is the simplest bullshit in the world. They were infiltrating, just like the CIA does, just like everybody else does. They have informants. The FBI has paid informants. They pay them. The government says the SPLC, okay, blah, blah, blah. The organization has strongly denied the accusation. It's ridiculous. The charges are politically motivated. Experts have raised questions about the charges. No shit. Why are we acting like, oh, well, this is very, very concerning and very, what? No, this is bullshit. This entire indictment is bullshit. This entire attack on the SPLC is bullshit. And you know what it's doing? It's just trying to set it up so it can tap down all the other organizations that fight right-wing extremism or try to expose it. Like me. No, they won't come after me. I only have 22 viewers. Byrick is now the chief strategy officer and co-founder of the Global Project Against Hate and Extremism and is often sought out as an expert on far-right groups. She submitted testimony to the House committee that investigated the January 6 attack on the U.S. Capitol about the extremism of the Proud Boys. A free and fair society does not use the justice system to silence its political opponents. Heidi Byrick has dedicated her life to fighting hate groups and extremist movements like the KKK, neo-Nazis, and other white supremacists, her lawyer, Michael Proctor, said in a statement. She has combated these hateful, ugly, and un-American extremists in their repeated uses of violence and intimidation in order to promote a fairer, safer, and more just America. Her decades-long record of success dismantling hate groups and the resulting threats to her life speak volumes. For this, she's been indicted. This is so dumb. Without ruling on the merits of the case, a federal judge in Alabama allowed the case to proceed last week, rejecting an argument from the SPLC that the case should be dismissed because it was a vindictive prosecution. She was formerly an executive. Oh, so she was actually a program executive. She wasn't the finance executive. Todd Blanche called her the CFO. She was probably just a program director or program, the head of programs or something. Poor Heidi. Heidi, hang strong, girl. Please hang strong. It's giving Soviet collapse corruption vibes. Yes. So tired of the fuckery. Yeah. They're trying to eliminate the ICC. Okay. They're trying to eliminate the ICC. And here's the thing. They can't hide. They cannot hide. Nuremberg 2.0 is coming. It's coming. Whether they want it or not. Where is it? I have it. I have it right here. Where is it? Maybe it's a background. Oh, yeah, it is. Damn. Yeah, Nuremberg 2.0 is coming. Let me make myself tiny. Can I make myself tiny? I guess I can't. I can take myself off the screen. Hold on. Let me hide myself. Oh, I hope I can come back. I'll try. It mutes me while I do this. God damn it. Why can't I make myself smaller? I want to make myself smaller. Customize. Oh, okay. Doesn't let me do that. All right, that's fine. Anyway, you get the point. Can't come fast enough. Oh my God, just reading about a new AI tool Navarro is touting to track transshipment. They're back. They're helping me sell my tech budget for a new position. Bring it, Pete. I did see something about Navarro this morning. I saw Peter Navarro this morning on Steve Bannon. I don't know what he was talking about on Steve Bannon. But yeah, cannot come fast enough. Me and Willie in the corner smoking weed. Wait, there. No, there. No, there. There. There's me and Willie in the corner smoking weed. There's Bannon doing his Nazi salute alongside of Elmo doing his Nazi salute. Actually, I really want to. I want to show this picture. Wait, let me see if I can pick this up. Oh no 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 no! What am I doing? What? Nope, I didn't want that. We got some songs to sing too. Oh my god! Yeah, don't expose these hate groups. Well, wasn't it? What didn't we discover that it was Family Research Council or something? God, I always get that wrong. I don't know, but there was a couple of groups that testified against them that was like, Oh, there is some stuff happening with, yes, there is some stuff happening with Farage. Yes, Count Binface. I've seen him before. Oh my God. Let me find that. Hold on. I did hear something about Nigel. Nigel Farage. I love this. I love this. Hold on. I love Binface. He's been around for a while. That guy's been around for a while. Binface. He always runs for, I think he runs for office quite frequently in the UK. Oops. Nigel Farage faces off against Count Binface in special election that's been denounced as a stunt. Well, apparently he's losing that stunt, right? Meowing. The man in the can with a plan. The election is today? Holy shitballs. There's Binface. He's fantastic. He's fantastic. And there's Farage with his mouth open. Here we go. Let's read this. This is NBC News from today. Tens of thousands of voters are heading to the polls Thursday in a special election in a small seaside resort just outside London that will pit a potential candidate to be the next UK Prime Minister against a collection of independence jokers and the single-issue candidates led by a man who wears a trash can on his head. Oh, is it? The man in the can? That's his actual thing. That's hilarious. That's not what Nigel Farage, the man who arguably did more to get Britain to vote to leave the European Union a decade ago. That's right. Farage is a Brexit boy. Intended when he triggered Thursday's special election in Clacton by quitting his seat in the House of Commons last month. When doing so, he expected to run again against candidates from Britain's main political parties, including the governing Labour Party and the main opposition Conservative Party. I just love that. I love that he probably will lose. I'll bet you he loses. I'll bet you he does. Farage, the leader of an anti-immigration party, Reform UK, stood down in the hope that the election could put to bed awkward questions about his finances. Farage said he would let voters judge him in a people versus the establishment contest. His political foes described the move as a stunt and opted against standing a candidate. Yeah, please let Binface win. The bin is in. Oh, that's cool. Instead, Farage's main opponent is Count Binface, a political satirist posing as a comic space alien with a keen interest in earthly matters, including the positioning of a hand dryer in the men's toilet in a pub in West London. Oh, that's Clacton. Oh. The special election is a novelty, if not quite a circus, with a record 34 candidates, including Howling Laud Hope of the official monster raving loony party. Holy shit. Oh, including Howling Laud Hope of the official monster raving loony party and Marcus White from the Everyone is God party. They have pounded the streets of Clacton over the past few weeks as they seek to win the support of around 80,000 voters. Given the numbers standing, Clacton residents will be presented with a ballot paper that is around 3 feet long. That's not going to be easy to navigate. Turnout is widely expected to be low for a variety of reasons. For one, turnout is usually lower at special elections rather than at general. In the July 2024 general election, Farage faced 8 rivals and garnered 21,000 votes, or 46.2% of the total. Turnout was 58.7%. This election is taking place in the midst of the summer holidays when thousands of voters will be far away from Clacton. It's also taking place during another UK heat wave, which could prompt many to opt against making the trip to a polling station as they seek sanctuary from temperatures above 95 degrees Fahrenheit, 35 degrees Celsius. Farage, who in 2024 was elected to parliament at his 8th attempt in the strongly Brexit-backing town, has for months been facing what he considers to be unfair scrutiny of his finances. Oh my God. Parliament Standards Watchdog is investigating an undeclared donation of £5 million, $6.7 million to Farage in 2024 from Christopher Harbone, a Thailand-based cryptocurrency billionaire. Farage said he didn't need to declare the money because it was a personal gift from my buddy, Chris, in Thailand, that he used to fund his security and came before he was elected. Newly elected lawmakers must declare gifts worth more than £300, $400, received in the previous year if they are related to political activities. When he stood down on July 7th, he described the scrutiny as an establishment hit job and a media-driven witch hunt. Shocker. His decision to stand down puts a pause to the parliamentary investigation, but if he wins on Thursday, as most pollsters expect, it is set to start up again. If he's found to have breached Parliament's rules, then he could face a recall petition in Clacton, which may lead to another special election later this year, costing the British taxpayer hundreds of thousands of pounds more. The difference is that in that one, the other parties would choose to stand. I'm with Nigel. Farage's decision to trigger another election in Clacton came weeks after Andy Burnham returned to Parliament in a special election in the Makerfield constituency near Manchester. That campaign shone a positive spotlight on Burnham, triggering a chain of events that saw him become Britain's prime minister a few weeks later, following the resignation of Keir Starmer. Any hope that Farage had that the Clacton campaign would be similarly positive for him was dashed when the other political parties failed to play ball and he was left standing against the likes of Count Binface. Under Binface's black cape, trash can, and ample body armor that looks straight out of a low-budget sci-fi film is a middle-aged comedian named John Harvey trying to keep his cool during a sweaty summer. God bless you, John, because I know what that feels like. He has been a regular candidate in high-profile elections before, having previously stood against then Prime Ministers Boris Johnson and Rishi Sunak. His repeated candidacies are aimed at promoting the beauties of Britain's century-old democracy, where even the most high-profile politicians are above no one, including someone from his fictional native planet of Sigma 9. He's also funny. I fucking love this. I love this. That's an animal rights activist. They didn't give them a name. The numbers backing him have been negligible and fairly costly. Candidates standing for election have to put down a deposit of £500. And they only get it back if they muster 5% of the votes cast. In his most recent run against Burnham and Makerfield, the comedian received 95 votes, or 0.2% of the total. There is an expectation that he will do a lot better in Clacton. Many of the voters of other political parties have been lending him their support, partly in the hope of embarrassing Farage. The result of the election, which will be announced as Farage is on stage with all his fellow candidates, is expected Friday morning between 5 a.m. and 7 a.m. Ooh, we can't wait. We can't wait. We can't wait. We can't wait. Bin face. I think it'd be great. Actually, I think Binface might actually be a really good politician. I mean, he's been around politics for a long time now. He knows the issues. Farage legacy being beat by a trash can would be epic. Oh my God, that would be perfect. Perfect. And a fitting end to a man who has tried to create and has created so much heartache and fuckery for UK, for Europe, for us. He's a Steve Bannon puppet, you know, all the same people. All the same people. Fucking amazing. Ugh. For thousands of years, a solar eclipse has been a prophetic harbinger of a spectacular epoch-making event. Just saying, vote Binface, Clacton, count Binface yesterday for the eclipse. That's right. It's a good sign. Good sign. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. This has been so nice. We did a little bit. I need to do longer shows, but it's harder when I don't have an anchor event. Oh, let's see if we can find out what's happening though with the Katie Fang, because somebody must be covering it. Hold on. Hold on to your love. Hold on and don't let go. Look at my beautiful Gus. Look at this beautiful cat. Look at this beautiful cat. Wait, where is it? It's Blue Sky. Where is it? Down. Where's my post? Oh, there it is. Okay. Isn't my cat beautiful? Isn't he so beautiful? That's a Gustafsson. He loves to sit in my chair. And basically I never get my chair. I mean, I have to kick him out, which is sad. It makes me sad. But I love this cat so much. He's my buddy. He's my son. This is the son I never had. Now he's sleeping in my bathroom cabinet because he loves hiding in the back of the cabinet. It's his favorite place. I cannot use that cabinet, but he's found a place. I love this baby. Oh, I love my baby. But I really wanted, I that was great, but I really wanted to find out what's happening with with Katie Fang's case. So let me just see. Yeah, we do have internment camps. Oh my God. I love the lawyer for the Tates. Can I just say that? I'm so sorry. Was it hard to find a place that allowed your pets, or was it just pay the extra amount? Actually, it is kind of hard with pets to find apartments. We were cut out of many apartments because no pets. So that is very normal. But this place is great. And we don't, I think we have a small pet rent, but it's not that much actually. He's so cute. He's such a good cat. He's a real person. He's like a little baby. A big 24-pound baby, or 23 pounds. All right. I love this Joseph McBride person, actually. He's fucking hilarious, and he won't win. And he wants a pardon for the Tate brothers so bad he would suck Donald Trump's dick. He would. In a minute. Andrew and Tristan Tate's lawyer, Joseph McBride, went on an insane tirade threatening to go to Donald Dump if the judge doesn't release the Tate brothers. Will go straight to President Dump's office. He really thinks he's something. You got to hear this guy. He's just a fucking piece of shit.
And the truth of the innocence and the reasons why they should be released will be so overwhelming, will be so compelling that the decision goes the other way. We're all going to have to ask questions about what's going on here. And if we lose, and if this judge says, look, despite the compelling arguments, despite what you presented in front of me today, I'm still going to rule against you, then we will go straight to President Trump's office. We will go straight to Marco Rubio, because Andrew and Tristan Tate or any other American citizen cannot get together without the Secretary of State's signature. And I will say to him, I understand we have a long and lasting relationship with the United Kingdom, but don't forget that relationship started when we took their tea and threw it into the damn water. Don't forget that relationship started when we launched a revolution against that stupid king and his stupid wigs in that godforsaken country. And the truth,
the stupid king. That's right. I know my history. A long time ago. But this is what we really hear, isn't it?
And you have to let my friends go. And if you don't let my friends go, I'm going to go to the president. And I'm going to tell him that you're not letting my friends go. And he's going to be really mad. And you're going to have to do what he says. So just get ready. Because I'm running. Right now, I got a meeting with the president. Maybe. Sort of, kind of.
Pets can cause a lot of damage to a rental, more damage than the extra rent would cover. I don't even know. I mean, I feel like it's all my pets have never created such damage that it was beyond like normal wear and tear. You know what I mean? Like, I've never had that. I've never had a problem getting security deposits back. I've never had a problem with any of that. Because people are, they don't, my pets have not caused like major damage, but they can, I guess. I mean, My dog sleeps all the time. That's a fucking pain in the ass. No, I'm just kidding. All right. So yeah, but I really want to find out. I'm so sorry. I really want to find out. Oh. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to show you guys this. I usually watch this kind of stuff, Fresh TV, Fresh and Fit, which is horrible. They bring on women and basically embarrass them and humiliate them and try and over sexualize. This guy is Myron Gaines. He's one of the worst manosphere. It's one of the worst manospheres in the world.
If I fuck a bitch and I say you're mine forever,
that's
if I say, well, if I tell her she's mine forever in her ear while she's coming, she starts to believe she's mine forever.
Yeah.
You're mine forever, no matter what. Choke her so she can barely fucking breathe. Tell her she's yours forever. They're gonna believe it. You can program them. They are programmable beings. They're designed to be programmed. You just have to be a large enough force to program them. That's all you have to be, is be a force in nature. If I fuck a bitch and I say you're mine forever.
Yeah, that is a very routine shit coming out of Andrew Tate and all the manosphere. This entire Fresh and Fit podcast kind of bullshit. Whatever is another podcast that has these guys. Myron Gaines has his own. He's a pig. Myron Gaines is probably the worst of these guys. And that's saying something. Okay, but what I really wanted to find. Oh yeah, this Joseph McBride is a fucking idiot. He's a worse lawyer. Okay, wait. I need to find what is it? Popular with Friends? Maybe that has it. Oh, here we go. Allison Gill. I love you. Allison. You've got the thread I wanted. Yeah. Okay, here we go. We're gonna read the maybe monthly rent is more manageable than a large deposit. I don't know. It's fine. You know what? And they limit the size of deposits and stuff like that here, which is good. There's some pretty good tenants' rights in California. I will say that. Okay, DOJ, we appreciate this is the Todd Blanche hearing, the Katie Fang case, claiming that Todd Blanche broke the law when he refused to submit certain justification for redactions, the mistakes made, et cetera, and the lack of release of all the documents. Basically, his lack of compliance with the Epstein Transparency Act. Katie Fang brought a case that is being heard right now I think in New York, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure. So DOJ, this is their defense against that case that Katie Fang brought. DOJ, we appreciate the opportunity. DOJ tried to make a good faith effort to provide the court with what it sought. I do have a second binder if you're willing to entertain a secondary submission. Can I approach and address the court ex parte? DOJ, these types of documents contain sensitive material, are under a protective order from the SDNY. Judge, I'll ask some questions and then my staff and I will huddle about this binder. DOJ, the Jan 4th memo set forth the procedure for determining victim status. DOJ, we didn't weigh the documentation. DOJ just took the self-determined victims at their words, and that's how the redactions were applied. Judge, I want to focus on the FBI interview notes. You say that they are substantially similar, but you didn't point to provisions in the EFTA, Judge, that allows you to withhold substantially similar things. So why not just hand redact the notes? DOJ, we determined that the handwritten notes were duplicative. The AG memo of January speaks to that on page 4 and 5. The AG said due to the volume of docs, the presence of duplicative docs, and the number of nearly duplicative docs, I think this is just an inadvertent redaction. The decision was that the handwritten notes were duplicative. So you have no additional information. How many pages of interview notes are there? DOJ, I don't have that information. Have any other handwritten notes been published? DOJ, I don't think so, not regard to the 302s. And those are the interviews that the FBI did with victims of Trump and Epstein. Judge, so what's the answer? DOJ, they're duplicative documents. Judge, how can the court know that? How do I know these are consistent? The only way to do that is to see the handwritten notes. We can't just take at face value that the notes are substantially similar. We have to determine that's correct, and I'm looking for a way to do that. DOJ, that gets back to the procedural posture. In a PII posture, personal information, I guess, I'm not sure what your honor is looking for. Judge, I'm looking for evidence that your representations that the handwritten notes are consistent with the 302s. The court needs a time frame for when it can get that information. The only way to judge, the only way to do this is to have the evidence. Maybe there's another way to do it. I'm open to it. Oh my God. DOJ, I don't have much insight. I could take it back to DOJ if you have an order, Judge, but that was part of the order. DOJ, I don't have any other sort. Are you seeking a production of the handwritten 302 notes? Is that what you're asking for? Judge, what you're saying is you have no other response to the deadline because it's too complicated? DOJ, no, we're just looking in order of what you want. Oh my God. Judge, it was clear what the court asked for. DOJ, what is the evidence? The rules of evidence. What evidence are you seeking? What process would you like the DOJ to engage in? Judge, is there another way redactions can be accomplished, or is there a way the court can determine whether your redactions are appropriate? DOJ, again, one of the difficulties I'm having is because of the preliminary injunction posturing at this stage. DOJ has given its rationale. We're usually afforded the presumption of regularity or give us a clean order to assess. We're usually afforded the presumption of regularity, which means, why are you asking us these questions? Judge, this is an unusual hearing. Fang. The DOJ has given no reason why they can produce these records. They just don't want to. That's true with respect to the binder they handed you this morning. You asked for it by July 30th, and they gave it today. Fang, they just don't want to produce this. It's our assertion that they're not duplicative. DOJ, I want to make it very clear. Any statements about motivations are completely baseless. DOJ had a Herculean effort to do this. Counsel's argument goes to the merits. DOJ, but we're in a preliminary injunction stage. We're putting the cart before the horse because we have jurisdictional issues. If you issue a clean, clear order, we can go from there. Judge, the court asked you to publish written justification published in the Federal Register. In response, DOJ said there was no deadline to do so. DOJ provided no information about the time frame. DOJ stated about 200,000 pages were redacted based on certain privileges. These 200,000 pages don't include redactions pursuant to the Epstein Full Transparency Act, I guess. So there is a dispute on whether there was a deadline to publish the written explanations for redactions. I thought it was within 30 days. I thought they had a date. I guess I'm wrong. The process to publish on the Federal Register is underway. I can't speak to when. Hopefully this will all be mooted shortly. Judge, give me a date. DOJ, I don't have a date. It's out of my control. Judge, but you knew this was going to be discussed today. DOJ, we knew. I'm unable to give you a date. Judge, a time frame? 30 days? 60 days? Is there someone who can, recognizing the court was going to ask this today? DOJ, if someone can address it, I'll pass the microphone to that person. Wow. Wow. Judge, the public demands a time frame, not just me. Where do we go from here? The info is still required. I'm just attempting to enforce the EFTA, not to please me, but to ensure compliance with it. It's been 7 months since production was ordered. So what's the DOJ's vision? The DOJ position, this is the DOJ. The DOJ position is that the government has a 15-day time frame. You're aware of the process it takes to get something into the Federal Register. Well, then why'd you suggest 15 days? Oh my God, this is obstruction. This is obstruction and contempt of court. Our own government is committing contempt of court and obstructing justice. Make that make sense. Why do we not have a revolution in this country? This government is rogue. Our government is rogue. Judge, I'm willing to work with you. I need a time frame. DOJ, I'm not in a position to give you that date. Judge, but you knew this was going to be discussed today, and no one at DOJ is in a position to give this court a date? Just get someone on the phone who can give me a date. Otherwise, the court will be forced to impose a date. I understand, the DOJ says. And if the court imposes a date, that's not my preference. DOJ, I'm not able to represent a date. Fang, I would like to point out that the DOJ has said all it plans to do is republish the summary it provided to Congress in the Federal Registry. It doesn't point to redactions of private information that we know the DOJ withheld. The plaintiff doesn't want victim information published. The issue is we can't believe what DOJ claims as victim information, and anything not including victim information should be produced. We would submit should have DOJ explain what they plan on submitting to the Federal Register. Judge, are you asking for another order? Fang, we submit it's clear DOJ has not complied with the original order. We are now 2 orders past that order. We believe sanctions are in order. We think the court should order a declaration ordering what will be submitted by DOJ and when. DOJ, I don't know what the declaration the plaintiffs are seeking. We've done our best to comply. The implication is we haven't is false. Just because you say that, lawyer, does not make it true. All facts and evidence point to the opposite. We've completed all actions set by the court. Sanctions and contempt should be off the table. Excuse me? Are these the worst lawyers? The government of the United States has the worst fucking lawyers in the universe? Is that what we're doing? Is that what we're doing? DOJ, we want a clean order. Judge, I've already done that. Do you want me to issue another order saying I really mean it this time? Are you telling me the answers you provided are the best you can give me? There's nothing else to say? DOJ, there's nothing else I can say in open court, maybe ex parte. Judge, you raise an interesting point. I thought about bringing DOJ in and sealed proceedings, but the public has a right to know what the hell is going on with this case. The victims deserve to know. The public deserves to know. If you're telling me there's nothing else to be said, then the court has to assume that's it. DOJ, there's nothing else to add. Judge, there are other pending issues. I'm going to take a short recess. The foreign language documents, that was a court order. Then back. Judge, just because you never received a response to your declaration to Congress doesn't mean the law isn't in full force and effect. When will the foreign language document process be started and completed? How many documents are there? DOJ, we don't know. We don't know. Judge, but you knew I'd be asking about this today. I knew they'd be asking about it today, frankly. You're at the podium. How does the DOJ intend to comply with the foreign language document component? Because apparently they never even or for us and for the release, they just withheld all the foreign language documents. Yeah. That's why it's being brought up now. DOJ, our briefing is our position, and I don't know that's changed. Judge, so your position is that you're not going to comply. Or if you are, I need a time frame. I'm willing to work with you. DOJ, I'm not just dreaming this up. This is the EFTA. This is in the EFTA. DOJ, this goes back to our briefing. So your position that the court doesn't have the authority to ask for this in the preliminary injunction stage? DOJ, we contest Fang doesn't have standing. Our position is articulated in our briefing. Judge, not to put words in your mouth, but you're saying the court has learned all it's going to learn from the government on the foreign language documents. DOJ, that's right. Judge, regarding the category that addresses redactions based on the Privacy Act, we're not going to get into discussions about the Privacy Act. I accept that at this time. Whether it complies with the act is a discussion for later. There are other pending matters. I'll take a 15-minute recess. I think that's it for the report. I know this Judge Sullivan is pretty funny. So they must be in a break. Thank you for reminding me of that. I think it was Meowing Star who reminded me of that. So that's this. Is this treason? I don't know. See, this is I don't know the law that well, but what do you do when you have both a corrupt and incompetent Department of Justice? What does one do in that case? Because again, going back to the dominionists and the takeover of this country by a certain ideological groups and authoritarians who are in legal trouble and need to hide their crimes and not be held accountable and sent to jail for the rest of their miserable little fucking lives. I mean, for the people who stand up for this regime, I don't know how you do it with any kind of lack of shame. I just don't know. This is literally an attempt to conceal the child sexual abuse committed by the President of the United States. And our entire Justice Department is working in concert to make that happen, to protect a child rapist. This is how low this country has gotten. Far below the Reagan days, far below the Bush days, which I thought not possible. But here we are. Oh, we got work to do, folks. There's trouble right here in River City. And it starts with tool and it rhymes with fool. And that's what we have in the DOJ. This is disgusting. It is disgusting to me that our government is the one obstructing justice because the head of the government raped children. Prove me wrong. Anyway. All right, I'm going to wrap it for today. A lot of stuff. We got through a lot of stuff. Yeah. And I'm hoping the weather improves a little bit because, frankly, I really want to get in that new dinosaur suit. I have a lot of things I want to protest. I have a lot of ideas. And I'm ready to rock. For those about to rock, we salute you. Anyway, I love you guys. Thank you for hanging in. It's been over almost 3 hours and you are all champions and wonderful. And the chat is what makes this show worthwhile for me. So thanks again for joining us. Please share the broadcast. Hit the like on your way out. It really helps my channel get a little more exposure. And that's all I want. I want eyeballs. I don't care about money. I don't get money from this. I really want eyeballs. I want people to be aware and to maybe catch articles that they might not have caught, you know, and be able to hear them in the background while they're folding the laundry, you know, like I think that's a beautiful service. And that's the service I wish to provide you. So thank you so much. And I will see you tomorrow morning. And then we're having trivia. Trivia is happening Friday, so get ready, bitches. Get your brains in gear. Well, it was a great show today because of all of you. Because literally, J-Rance, Teresa, Gal, Tina, all of the women in this case who curated the pieces for this show unwittingly, I stole them from them. I am so grateful to my friends who are so fucking smart and so fucking on top of this shit. And I wish I was half as organized as you. I just love you. I just love you very much. And I'm really grateful because it makes me feel at least like I'm informed about what's happening. I will, sweetheart. You too, Meowing Star. I love you. I really do. I love you. I really do. Anyway, don't let the turkeys get you down. Tell them to go fuck themselves. And I will see you tomorrow morning. Probably at 6:30. Probably back to the regular time. Okay. Bye. Love you.